Yeah. Okay, so we're started.
Yeah.
So you just cut it. Okay, welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Utah football. We're going to be going over some expectations. We're going to be going over what returning talent they have. It's a lot. We're going to be going over, our biggest concerns, biggest strengths, and just some other interesting topics surrounding the team.
Sorry.
There you go.
Let's actually introduce us. I'm Ethan. Just big Utah fan, been my whole life. Really started getting into it around 2014, so been following them to the core since then. And so I've been really excited to kind of just sit here, talk, and enjoy an incredible season that we're hoping we're going to have.
Yeah, I'm Tanner. Utah football is basically my personal religion. I follow it obsessively. I love it. Yeah, same thing. I'm the same age as Ethan, so I've been following it since, I became an adult, 2014. And yeah, I love it.
I'm Landon. I love the Utes. I have multiple Brant Keithy posters in my room alone. And I'm super excited to see this season and see what we can accomplish because we have a ton of returning talent.
Yeah, we're all cousins, so it's going to be fun. We all know each other very well, and so we can all kind of see, in our eyes, okay, this man's thinking of something grievous, you know what I mean? So hopefully we'll have some fun, controversial takes, but also some just unique and overall just have a fun time. I'm really excited.
Mainly this is just for us. If someone listens to it, congratulations, welcome. We're happy to have a listener.
Yeah,
but,
I'll upload it, but it's I actually haven't checked how many views our last one got in months.
Yeah,
we could have gotten a decent
We may
amount.
be getting views, but we really just do this for our own enjoyment. So we hope you guys enjoy it too. We just love talking about sports. We love talking about the Utes. This is what we've done all growing up. We're the best of friends. We just sit around naming sports people all day and just talking about teams.
I remember Sundays for growing up throughout my life, sitting there for 7 hours, it feels like just talking about, looking at sports, going through, we had a soccer kick at one point where that's all we freaking talked about.
Yeah.
And then we kind of fell off. Got to the point where we thought football was the only thing we wanted to do. Then we got basketball, all these things. And so, we're like, why not record it? Why not have some fun? We had some fun conversations in the day. We'll have some fun conversations now. So it's
it's kind of fun just to record it and have the structure of talking.
Yeah.
Because then it's we have topics we're going through, we all talk, it's just fun. I'm just sad I was late to the sports party. I didn't even like sports until 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I always liked Utah football.
I was basically a missionary for sports to Landon.
I wouldn't look at anything sports related outside of the game.
Yeah.
And that has changed drastically.
And it's super cool because we all have different knowledge when it comes to, especially football. See, I love just sports in general, and I mostly would follow baseball and basketball. I never really got into football. Utah football is the only real football team I'll ever follow.
Right.
NFL, I don't really care.
Same.
I like the NFL. I don't have a team though. Just being from Utah,
Exactly.
there's no one to choose.
But you all both played football a lot longer than I did, and so your knowledge is gonna expand my knowledge as well. Understanding formations a little bit better, understanding what this coverage mean or why the quarterback did this in this situation. Because I just looked at it and that was really cool and that was really fun. And I understand the basics, of course. Yeah. But having more advanced expertise in to quote my just to be silly, it's kind of cool. So I'm excited. I've said maybe 6 times, but
yeah.
Me too. It's blistering, it's ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into this. So obviously coming off of a Rose Bowl appearance, Pac-12 championship, there is a ton of talent coming back on this team. Obviously the key losses of Devin Lloyd and Nephi Sewell,
Mika
Tafua, Bam Oliasini, Nick Ford. Those are all heavy losses.
Fotheringham even. There's some sleepers in there.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are players that made a big impact for Utah. But I really think that they're well positioned with the depth they have to kind of pick up where they left off. And maybe no one will be quite like a Devin Lloyd, but I think we can kind of approximate that production with, Lander Barton coming in, Justin Medlock, true freshman. The Florida linebacker transferred, I'm going to butcher his name, but Diabete, or however you say that name. And obviously Kareni Reed is back. And so I think we do have a lot of returning talent. What do you think, Landon?
I agree with you. Especially, I'm going to start with the offensive side. When Keithy and Kincaid both announced they were returning for another season, I was so happy because those two were some of the backbones of our offense. One of the best Utah offenses ever. Was it the best Utah offense? Most points per game?
I think we've had a couple more, but it's best for a while.
Yeah, two incredible players offensively returning, and then obviously Cam Rising. He didn't even get to play a full year last year. So I'm really excited to see what he can do as being the clear QB number 1 with the whole offseason, whole camp training. I'm just excited to see what happens.
Yeah,
That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, people forget he's coming off of a shoulder surgery. Even he himself has said that, like, he didn't have that same, like, pop on his throws that he used to. But, like, hopefully that's fixed after a full offseason of, like, you know, recovery and strengthening. Yeah, hopefully that's fixed.
Just a quick little rundown over, like, the University of Utah's season. Like, last year we averaged 36 points per game, had 506 total yards. 506 total yards with 157 of those being... No, that's wrong. Sorry. That's wrong.
Per game?
216 of those being rushing, and 214 of those yards being passing.
Love that.
So
balanced
very,
attack. Completely balanced.
And we definitely saw later on in the year there was a lot more run heavy in the beginning of the game, and then a lot more pass heavy in the end of the game.
Right.
Saw Tavion in the first half of that Stanford game.
Ran all over.
Obviously, that was a high school
first
team.
half of Oregon, first half of Arizona, first half of Oregon State.
USC.
Oregon State was a bit more pass happy in the first half, but yeah, you get the point.
Yeah, so it's really cool to see like these returning talents coming here just to be better. And you, obviously, Tavion Thomas coming back is really cool to see. But that also kind of leads to like some of our sleeper picks. We got a true freshman coming here who could come out and have, I dare I say, like a Ty Jordan type of year. Jaylen Glover is gonna be good.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier today. The man is Devontae Booker reincarnate. He's a little shorter, but the dude can catch the ball in the backfield. He is quick as all can be, and the man, he's thick. The man has a perfect running back
supposed to take him down.
Exactly.
Yeah,
his center of gravity is gonna be so low. It's gonna be elite. He's like Ezekiel Elliott out there, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been a big Zeke fan, but like the dude,
You can see the
couldn't get
prototype.
tackled.
Yeah.
You can't tackle him. When he's on, you can't tackle him. I think Jaylen Glover, that's going to be one of my big sleeper picks. Obviously, I'm sure you all agree. Like, one of your guys is one of our favorite players coming into that spring game.
Yes.
Amazing.
Jaylen Glover reminds me so much of Ohio State's running back, Travion Henderson. That dude, the short, thick prototype, good hands. Well, actually, I don't know. I never really saw him catch passes. Does he have good hands?
He caught a few out of the flat, yeah. Not a ton, but like it was good enough. He got a couple 15-yard
great burst
plays.
speed, great vision, just strength, just blocks of muscle. So I love that. Super high on him.
Yeah, I think that Glover's season will really depend on two things. It'll depend on how good he is in pass pro, how much, if we can have him out there on obvious passing downs, his value skyrockets. Because, like Tavion, like it's hard to have him out there on obvious passing downs. Micah Bernard is good on obvious passing downs, but is a threat out of the backfield. Maybe not as much in pass protection. And so that's one thing that I think it hinges on. The second thing I think it hinges on is how his vision holds up. Because high school and college are two different games. Like, obviously in high school, that dude ran for over 9,000 yards in his high school career. 9,000. Like, no one could take him down. He was a touchdown machine. He won Florida Player of the Year. Like, this dude has a pedigree. Every big school was after, And so if his vision can hold up where he gets into that second level, I think he's in for special season.
And I have one more thing to add to three keys kind of for Glover. How good is Tavion going to be? Because if he's not seeing the field, he's not going to be able to reach his potential. And there's been some question marks around Tavion in terms of his conditioning, just his behaviors off the field, his work ethic.
This is like love of the game.
Exactly. There's a few question marks around Tavion. It's not as clear cut as you would think it would be. Like Glover could maybe mid-season be the starting running back.
Yeah.
It would be really hard to imagine him starting at the beginning of the year. But like mid-season, if Tavion's not getting it done,
I mean, especially if his fumbling issues come back.
Yeah, if Tavion's fumbling.
Well, if we watch
Utes fumbling issues, we're cursed. It's just Zach Moss. It's the biggest guys. They can't hold onto the ball. It's weird.
We went to the spring game this year, and we saw Tavion. If he's anything like he was, I'd rather have Glover on.
He was so big.
He was huge.
Massive. Don't get me wrong. Like, that could be a plus.
I'm sure he's strong, but
way
he was
big.
slow. He looked slow.
Yeah, and he fumbled too.
Exactly. On the goal line.
Yeah,
this is playing against people who are just trying to get on the team.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Like, he probably wasn't all there. He probably didn't really want to be there. Probably didn't even
He
get
only
reps.
played one drive.
Exactly. So, like,
But,
don't get me
yeah.
wrong, I love Tavion Thomas. If he comes back and he has a year he did last year, dude,
Man,
Take that
great
any day.
year. Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
take that any day. I'll take a quarter, no, probably 3/4 of the season he had last year. You know what I mean? If he
Glover
was
can fill in
remotely,
production.
if he was remotely as good as he was last year, I'm happy.
But like, how many running backs get injured too?
Exactly.
You know, like you need
Exactly.
quality.
And especially
yeah.
with University of Utah football, like we are
It
run
wears
heavy.
you down.
We've always had multiple running backs that
True.
are good. Look at the Zach Moss years. I
I
can't
mean,
remember
look
his
at our
name.
RB4, Ricky Parks, 4-star
Exactly.
recruit out of high school.
Yeah.
Like that dude's a beast.
Well, Chris Curry of last year, the dude never
Yeah.
touched the ball. The dude was an LSU.
I
Was
mean, TJ Pledger.
2019 national champion with LSU.
Yeah.
Arguably
Yeah.
the greatest college
I
football
mean,
team
running
of all
backs
time.
want to come here. We have depth. It just,
Uh-huh.
you know, that makes competition even more important. If Tavion is not putting in the effort that he needs, he's gonna get passed up. Like that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Like these guys are hungry for reps. You don't think Micah Bernard wants more reps?
Exactly.
He would
You know,
love it.
Like
And
Micah, yeah, and
He's
he
definitely
played
going to be
great.
another sleeper.
Exactly,
Dude, if
yeah.
the man, I don't know if it'll be likely, but what he did in Ohio State versus Jackson Smith Enigma, I can never say his name right.
Njigba, I think. yeah.
Njigma, as a third string running back on the defensive end. If the dude could be a two-way type player. Like I don't know if it's even like I doubt it's ever going to happen, but like just the potential of this man. He's another one of my sleepers this year. We have a lot of talent that saw the field but didn't see it a lot. in
Right,
extreme
that
amounts
has
last
potential
year.
to break out.
Yeah.
For, like we have a guy like Money Parks. Last year, I think it was one of Cam Rising's first passing touchdown against USC. Great route, just an out right in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Great hands, caught the ball. It's like the only catch he caught all year.
Right, he barely even saw the field.
Yeah.
Otherwise. Yeah.
But we need someone to fill in that Cubby role. I'm not saying Money
Is
Parks is the
Jalen Dixon
guy.
still on the team?
I think so. I'm not sure.
I think
He seems like
Dixon's still
he
back.
seems like a natural Covey replacement to
Dixon
me.
is still on the team.
He has good
Exactly.
speed. He's a bit shorter. I wouldn't be surprised if he returns our kicks.
Yeah,
as
that's an
well.
interesting thing.
I
Well,
think
we need that
Dixon-
Covey. We need
But
that Covey
yeah.
replacement. There's so many people on our wide receiver core that could.
Right, right.
But then you got wide receivers that could just step up to the point where it's going to be insane. Devon Vale, as a freshman, came out of nowhere.
Him and Rising seem to have really good chemistry
Uh-huh.
too.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
they seem in sync, you know? And I would say wide receiver is one of those, it's going to be something that really determines where our offense will stand as far as like where we are in the national conversation.
100%.
You know, if our wide receivers, if we get great production from Vele, Solomon Enos, and probably one other receiver, and obviously we have our two dominant tight ends, you know, if we get good production from those five, like we could have a top 10 offense, you know? And like
I agree.
but like without that wide receiver play, like we're going to be relying on more gadget plays. You know, we're going to be more, you know, tight end curls, you know, through the middle, tight end, play action pass. And it just, I feel like it limits the ceiling. So like we really need those wide receivers to be able to create separation, have good hands, and get into the second level of defense.
For me,
Yeah.
I think Devon Vale has the potential to be a top 5 wide receiver in the Pac-12.
I kept like when you say the country at
No.
first, and I was like, "You're going a
You
bit
know-
crazy here."
You know, like, who knows? That would be amazing. Like, I would obviously, like, please. Like,
Yeah.
that would be incredible. But I think he has the potential to be a top 5 wide receiver in the Pac-12. And if he can get that, if we can have maybe 2 wide receivers in the top 10, top 15, production-wise, obviously there's so much more that goes into it besides numbers. But I would take that in a heartbeat. And I think that really will determine us being a powerful team in this year, or
Yeah.
just a pretender.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
kind of leads us into like returning talent a little bit. Maybe we could go through the offense and the defense and, you know, just comment on a few people that are returning.
I've already given a little. I love Clark Phillips returning. I'll start defense. Clark Phillips returning is huge. He's one of the premier cornerbacks in the country, maybe the premier cornerback in the country. And then Junior Tafuna, beast, one Pac-12 freshman of the year, which is incredible.
Van Fillinger.
Van
coming back.
Fillinger. Yeah, Van Fillinger, he started out a little rocky, but I think he put some weight on, and he definitely picked it up towards the end of the season.
Yeah, he's put even more weight on
That's
this
good.
summer.
Going back to that spring game, he looked like
Yeah.
he was playing against
Beast.
little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our defensive line was a bit light last year, just weight-wise.
Yeah,
and
we
I
need to
think
get
now
up.
that that's solved, that's going to make a big difference.
We were young.
A lot of
Very young.
very young. A lot of why our defensive line maybe, you know, Utah has dominant defensive lines. That's what we're known for, you know, Sack Lake City. The reason why maybe last year wasn't quite the production we're used to is because I felt like a shift in strategy where we were usually, in like the peak of Sack Lake City, we had 4 with their hands in the dirt, 5 with their hands in the dirt. This time we were pretty exclusively 4. And their job was mainly to hold up so that Devin Lloyd and Nephi Sewell could ball hawk and get the stops. Because they knew that they had 2 elite linebackers behind them, and so they just needed to hold those holes. They just need to hold that down, and then Devin Lloyd and them would find them.
Exactly.
I think this year we're going to focus on getting a little more downhill, because I just think that you can't count on that same production from the linebacker spot. And so, we're going to need to get more downhill, which is, I think the coaches know that because they're trying to bulk these guys up.
Yeah.
We got to get more push than we did. Because, that Rose Bowl game versus Ohio State, that's kind of embarrassing.
A single sack.
It was embarrassing how we couldn't get pressure at all. And, they kept an extra lineman in there, blocker, because they knew they could beat us on the outside. But we have to pressure them.
Well, we didn't get pressure at all.
If we want to play with the big boys, if we want to win the pack, if we want to make the college football playoff, you have to get pressure on the quarterback. You cannot do it without that.
Going back to kind of what you're talking about with the wide receivers on the offensive end, I think the linebacker spot, if we can get some relatively close productions last year, that will really telegraph to wins this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's our biggest hole that we're missing. That's going to be our two best players on defense of last year. Arguably, probably Clark Phillips.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it's our biggest hole because we lost the most production there, but it's also our deepest position
by a
long shot, which is it's a weird dichotomy there where it's it's just so weird that it's that way.
Looking at Ethan Calvert, the man hasn't even touched the field, but the potential that man has had. Some of you, if you don't know, he was one of the highest recruits in Utah history. I think he's top 10, probably top 5.
Yeah,
and
it's basically him, Clark Phillips, and Leiter Barton.
Exactly.
Out of the last 10 years, are our best recruits.
Exactly. And he hasn't touched the field. He's been injured. If this man could come back, and produce what he's expected, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? We have a problem. That problem's going to be great.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool. I'm excited to see. Yeah. Because we have probably 4 linebackers regarding, just saying, out of pure talent, not thinking about health or anything like that, that should see playing time. You got Lander Barton, you got the Florida transfer Diape or whatever you say his name.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't wait to hear it so I can understand.
Yeah, seriously.
You got Ethan Calvert and then what's his?
Karenni Reed.
And then Medlock.
Too.
Medlock. We have
I think
5.
you missed Reed though. Yeah,
we have 5. I always forget about Karenni Reed.
Yeah.
Obviously he didn't really get any of the spotlight with Devon Lloyd and.
Yeah, we've got the other Calvert brother too.
Yeah,
is the thing.
Yeah,
exactly. We have so much depth in that position, and it's a problem that I'm super happy to have. But I'm just I'm kind of not concerned, but I'm excited to see what Whittingham and Scally can figure out.
I think someone will emerge. I think there will be. I think Karenni Reed is a very safe bet to pencil in for a lot of playing time. I also think the Florida transfer is a pretty safe bet. I put that third guy who could possibly be number 1 by the end of the year is Barton. Obviously,
Lander Barton.
He's a big sleeper.
Super high on him.
Yeah.
He looks like he can do it all to me. Even just the spring game, he had that Devin Lloyd style of just ball hawk. He just tackles.
Wasn't he the one? Yeah. Wasn't he the one to strip the ball from Tim?
I think he was.
I think he was. He's powerful, aggressive. It just reminds me of Devin Lloyd. It's just the type of linebacker where they just hit you and you're not getting any more yards.
He's bigger than Lloyd, though.
He is.
Look at that body,
he's big.
And that man is a grown man.
He's the quintessential middle linebacker body.
Big.
Devin Lloyd, I feel like he'll be successful literally in the position you put him on the edge, put him in the middle, put him out on the free safety.
For real.
He'll do what needs to be done.
There's a reason Jim Harbaugh, coach of the 49ers, flew out to 5 or 6 Brighton games last year.
Exactly.
Former coach of the 49ers, current coach of the Michigan Wolverines, because they were coming after him hard. It was top 2, Utah and Michigan. And he shows Utah, hometown hero. But when you got Jim Harbaugh coming out to watch your football games, you've made it.
Exactly.
You're a recruit.
This is Big Ten.
I'm so
big dogs.
I am so excited to see Lander Barton on the blitz. He is gonna tear it up. He is big.
I'm
and
excited.
fast
I think he
and
might play
long.
edge too.
That's completely
I think
an
he might
option.
have his hand in the dirt because his body's like Van Fillinger.
Yeah,
he's got that
he's
same
Van
frame.
Fillinger.
He's faster though than Fillinger. He's stronger.
His speed shocked me. In spring game, he was much faster than I expected.
What we've said ever since we've really learned about this guy, if he was anywhere else, he'd be 5-star.
Yeah, I mean, he's born in Alabama. He's born in Florida. He's born in Texas.
He's a
5-star.
High 5-star.
Yeah,
98 plus. You know what I mean? The man would be getting full rides.
He is a special
everywhere.
talent.
He's going to be incredible.
I'm very confident he's going to play.
Oh, 100%. He's going to be.
He's wherever we put him, he's playing.
He's a starter for
sure.
sure.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of 3 linebacker packages because I think,
play to our strengths.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think Coretti Reed can stick with running backs too. Like he's a good coverage backer. That's what we played him a lot last year.
Yeah.
And so like he's good at that. And so I think we'll play a lot of 3 linebacker this year.
I think we should probably head into like some of our biggest concerns and biggest strengths this year.
Sure. Yeah.
For me, I think me and Tanner both agree. Our biggest concern is going to be the dang special teams. Oh, there you go. Never mind. We kind of were talking a little bit, and we kind of brought that up. Like, let's wait. You know, I was so disappointed. I've never seen a worse long snapper in my freaking life. Never seen.
It was all of it. It wasn't just the long snapper.
I don't understand. Like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, it's the personnel is a huge importance of this.
Yeah.
But University of Utah basically integrated Aussie-style punting into college football. You had Mitch Wisowski. You had wow, my mind is
Tom Hackett.
Tom Hackett,
the best punter.
Best college football punter.
I will live and die on this. He's the best punter in the world. You know,
I agree.
Just Aussie style doesn't work in the
best
NFL.
punter in the world currently has a podcast he runs.
You know,
or it's time for us a TV show.
Shout out Tom Hackett.
Well, he's like a soccer dude. He loves RSL.
Yeah,
you know, big RSL.
Love the dude. One of the funniest people I've ever heard.
Craziest stat I ever saw in one game. It was against BYU. He had 4 punts inside the 10-yard line.
Jeez, it's just unreal.
He broke the record. Most punts in the 10-yard line.
Like coming back to like that punt team last year, it was embarrassing.
We had what 4?
We had five turnovers off punts, and we
had 3 kick returns ran back for TD. We had 4 punts blocked,
in the Rose Bowl.
2 of them
in the Rose Bowl, they got a touchdown off one of them of drop.
Yeah. We would win that. We would have won that game if our punt team was remotely decent.
I still think they would have scored anyway.
They probably would have scored that drive, but I mean,
a man can dream.
It doesn't increase our chances of winning as much as I would like to believe, is what I'm trying to say here.
That offense was just otherworldly.
You're taking away my concern. You're making it less legitimate, okay? Like, the punt team sucked.
I totally agree.
Oh, I mean, we lost the Oregon State game off the punt team.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They blocked 2 punts, right?
They blocked 2 punts. We gave up 2 touchdowns.
At that moment, I 100% agree.
We lost that game from the punt team. It was special teams.
It was ridiculous. But going back to it, like, if we don't address this concern... my biggest concern was it took forever. It was like 3 seconds.
We got blocked in the Rose Bowl.
No, I'm saying like if we don't get it fixed this year, like if coming into 2022, we have the same problem, I will go and slap people. I will find this man.
Whittingham would be in a rage if this happened.
Yeah.
Like,
I will call whoever the special team coach's head. I will look it up and I will find you if this happens. Like, don't be wrong.
Like allowing 5 special teams TDs in a year is like what is usually in a decade. You know? Like that's like a decade
that's
of
bad.
Football. That's bad. Yeah.
I can't remember before this season last time people were blocking our punts and returning them and stuff.
Never.
When?
Who in the country gets? You have 1 per year of those.
Exactly.
You know,
who gets 2 in a game and scores on them twice?
I know.
Oregon State.
Exactly.
I'm so excited for that game. I can't wait to shove it down there.
You have to believe that'll be fixed.
Yeah, and I'm just that's my biggest concern.
You have to have a kicker that is automatic from anything that's shorter than 45 yards. Mm-hmm. You have to have
a leg.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
How can you be a punter?
Bro.
How can we go from some of the best punters in the country to Ray Guy winners? The man, Tom Hackett's the only punter in history. I obviously don't quote me. He has 2 Ray Guy Award winnings.
Yeah, and so
to go from to this, I don't get me wrong. Nothing against the guy except I hate him.
Nothing against the guy except I hate him.
But if the dude, I will go out there and I'll punt the ball. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Ridiculous. If it doesn't, like I said, if it doesn't get fixed, I will start ripping hair. I get furious. I was so mad against the Oregon State game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think basically we just need someone that can put in is basically automatic on 45 or less yard field goals. We need a punter that can consistently get it off. We need a punt team that can block people.
We need a kickoff team that doesn't kick it to their 20-yard line.
We need a kickoff team that just touches it back every time.
My thought process is how bad we were, and then we still went for the quick we'd punt it and we don't have anyone blocking. We take everyone.
Terrible.
It's like, what do you mean? You have like 4 guys.
The Cam Rising pooch punts were better.
I know. We were in such a dark place. Cam Rising started punting for our team. And it was better than our actual punter.
I don't even want to
It
talk
worked
about
perfectly. To be
It
fair.
was. I honestly
I don't even
loved
want
it.
to
I'm
start
not
talking
joking.
about the field goal team ever as well. In my life, obviously, like I said, we really started getting into Utah football in 2014, and we were spoiled.
Yeah.
Andy Phillips, Matt Gay, those guys.
You know, Super
incredible.
Bowl winner Matt Gay with his game-winning field goals. You know?
Man, arguably the best Utah player in the NFL. You know what I mean? Not anymore. Devon Lloyd's coming after your phone.
That's true.
Yeah, and so another interesting aspect to this special teams discussion is the 2 things we could count on were kick return and punt return.
Yeah.
But now Covey's gone.
It's another big concern.
It's a
Yeah,
big
exactly.
question
Team,
mark.
the whole thing is, I'm like,
It's going to take... I think Utah fans are scarred. It's going to take a few good games of special teams to really trust it again.
100%. And I think losing Pepin,
I was
guy,
really high on Pepins.
Alabama transferred. The dude was, I think,
He would have been our
state
returner.
record.
Fast.
State record in Alabama.
Faster than Covey was.
We need to get Nate Johnson in returning punts.
Bro, for real. Honestly,
Dakota
Bernard
Jackson.
can do well. Jalen Dixon can do well.
Bernard or Jaylen Dixon,
Hear me
is
out.
my point.
Hear me
my
out.
choice. Maybe Money Parks.
We saw the 40 times. We saw the times. Bryson Barnes.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
So for those
was
listeners
top
who don't
20.
know, there was a list of personal best speed records that Utah football posted, and Bryson Barnes was like way high.
He was so high.
He was he was the fastest quarterback. He was like top
Yes.
15. Like, big body, bro. You learn how to catch a punt.
seriously.
Yeah.
Hey, put Keithy back there. I guarantee he does good.
Well, that guy's in the NFL. We don't want to hurt him.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Okay, what about you, Lana? What's your biggest concern?
My biggest concern is offensive line. I didn't even trust the offensive line last year, and we lost Bam Olaseni and Nick Ford, probably our 2 biggest pieces. Did we lose a 3rd guy? I swear we lost another person.
He probably could have just
On the
I
O-line.
can't remember off the top of my head.
He didn't get drafted for sure, but he could have
Yeah,
graduated.
I think
Neither
he
Ole
just
Senior nor
graduated.
Nick Ford got drafted.
They-
They,
well, they- I guess-
they got
yeah.
picked up under.
They got signed.
I'm just worried because at the beginning of the season the offensive line was our downfall. It's why we lost those dumb games at the beginning of the season. It was all offensive line. We couldn't run and we couldn't pass without getting sacked. So just short, quick one for me. Offensive line. Just a lot of question marks there.
Yeah, I agree. I hope it doesn't take us as long as it did last year to get that sorted out, because we're going to be coming up against a big physical team in Florida right out the gate. I mean, these guys are
need to
loaded with
block.
4 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars. Like, this is the SEC, man. Like, like regardless of what happened last year, their record, like they've got dudes on their roster. Like they've got players.
I think another thing that we probably look over is that quarterback battle, how that affected the offensive line.
Yeah. I think Rising
Charlie
had the
Brewer-
locker room on his side.
Charlie Brewer and Cam
Yeah,
Rising.
he's just been there for so long.
Charlie Brewer and Cam Rising, they were definitely different style of players.
Yeah.
Cam Rising is a lot more mobile. He's able to throw in the run a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest, just a better quarterback.
Yeah.
Charlie Brewer, great. He fit Baylor very well. Was not a Utah guy.
Yeah, Utah just isn't a spread offense.
Exactly.
We're pro style. Like we need Rising under center sometimes. That just wasn't
Yeah.
And
Brewer's
I think
game.
that just helps. I think
Yeah.
having a quarterback without a fraction of the doubt as your number 1 guy the whole offseason, being healthy, that'll help them a lot. And I think that'll definitely increase the chances of them coming out and being very good.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
But I hope. I definitely can see the concern.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't. I don't have to worry about that.
I think one thing why the offensive line got better was just scheme as well. With the spread scheme, we just couldn't block. We have to go under center and pack it in a little bit more, and the blocking improved a ton.
Well, when you can go 3 tight ends and have 2
Oh, yeah.
of them be absolutely elite blockers, don't get me wrong.
I mean, all
Keithy
3
is a
of
great
them.
blocker.
Yeah.
Keithy's an
But
elite
compared to-
blocker, I would say.
But compared to Fotheringham and compared to...
I'm not sure I'm willing to say
They're
that.
just a bit bigger
Keithy's-
bodies.
I agree.
Keithy blocks in a different way. Like, he'll
Yeah.
be lead blocker. He goes right through the
He's
whole
cracking someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pushing him out the
Freaking
back of
USC
the end
game.
zone.
Watching some of the USC games, he was the man in the middle. He was a fullback.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see. But I think just having been able to go back to that 3 tight end set really helped. Having Tavion Thomas becoming the RB1, who is a very good pass blocker for a running back. Very big body.
Yeah.
Definitely was able to stay in there and make an impact.
Yeah.
And so, for sure. What about you? What's your biggest strength, Tanner?
So my biggest concern. I have a
sorry.
different one. Yeah. So my biggest concern is one that I thought about for a while. It's actually we did not generate a lot of turnovers last year. Like our defense,
We did take a big step back.
we took a big step back there. Usually we get a lot of interceptions, we get a lot of fumbles. We're ball hawks. We're
Definitely
disruptive.
fumble on the fumble side.
Did we even recover a fumble this year?
I think we did a couple.
Two.
We had one in the Rose Bowl.
What?
And
Three picks this year? 4 picks?
But like I don't have the numbers right in front of me. But, like I bet we were like a third or a quarter of the turnovers we usually do.
Usually we forced a turnover every game.
Yeah, exactly. And this game we had multiple games without turnovers.
Yeah.
You know, and I think someone like Cole Bishop is disruptive will help that.
Yeah.
Hopefully this year we can get more downhill and get more sacks, you know, which lead to interceptions, which lead to fumbles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was a really big deal because I feel like usually most games we lost the turnover battle.
That's true.
We
Especially with the special team issues. I don't want to go back to it again, but how are we going to win the turnover battle when not a muffed punt, but a blocked punt, like half our games?
Yeah, exactly. And if you know Utah football, you know we don't lose a turnover.
Yeah.
That's like a thing Whittingham stresses big time.
That and penalties. We did not lose the penalty battle, and we did not lose the turnover battle.
Just to go through, just looking at some defensive stats. Last year, the only person with more than 2 turnovers altogether, interceptions and fumble recoveries, was Devon Lloyd.
Yeah,
he had 6 total. Had 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, or 5 interceptions.
Dang, he had that many?
Devon Lloyd is that kind of disruptive defender I'm talking about.
He had 5. Sorry, he had 5. 4 interceptions and a fumble recovery.
Yeah.
The next closest to him was Clark Phillips with 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
And a forced fumble.
But I give that to Clark Phillips. He was the one who did everything.
And we just need more from that side of the ball. We need more big plays. We can't play. I feel like with our young defense, we played fairly passive. We kind of played a little bit of prevent. We need to be more aggressive this year, especially in the early games, and especially against a quarterback like Anthony Richardson, who is prone to throwing interceptions.
Yeah,
we need to play aggressive because I think we can get him a couple times.
Yeah, that's the Florida quarterback we're facing in Week 1. I think going to like our biggest strengths. I think our biggest strength is going to be camerizing. Me personally, probably pretty bold. I think the man's going to have 38 plus touchdowns total this year.
See it for sure.
If I'll be honest, I'm going 45.
Ooh. Yeah, wow.
I'm having 7 to 8 rushing touchdowns and 38 to 37 passing. I know it's a lot. Obviously, that's Heisman type.
Yeah, it's Heisman type
numbers, but that's what I expect. That's what I expect. No, I wouldn't say expect, but that's what I expect at his peak. Cam Rising, as much as he doesn't give it, obviously I'm a homer. Obviously I'm looking at this as a fan perspective. The dude's a top 5 quarterback in this country.
I agree with that.
I think there's only 2 quarterbacks in the country that have better NFL talent, a better NFL chance than him. And it's probably Bryce Young and
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud, obviously.
Stroud is generational.
But Cam Rising, for me, he's going to be our biggest strength this year. It's if he produces 35 plus total touchdowns, we win 12 games.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. The man, he is probably the most efficient and least problem-making quarterback we've had in my lifetime. Well, maybe not my lifetime, but my lifetime of really paying attention to Utah. Travis Wilson, mid.
Yeah.
Troy Williams, mid. Tyler Huntley is a lot better than what we were expecting.
He had his own suite of problems,
but he had problems. He
didn't
as
really
efficient.
pop off till his senior year.
He wasn't as efficient.
He was not very good until his senior, and even his senior year.
I wouldn't say not very good. I'd say he was good.
He was average. He really was.
I feel like his first year was average. His second year he was good. His third year he was great.
It's just his passing and decision making was so suspect. Yeah. It is kind of a side tangent when you get back on topic.
No, it's fine. We can keep talking about it. Yeah.
Like for example, Cam Rising last year had only 5 interceptions. Just to go over 2019, Tyler Huntley, not to like come out to Tyler Huntley here, but it's just he's probably the best quarterback we've had for a while. Probably since Brian Johnson. Yeah. It was since Brian Johnson. He had this load. So I'm on the Wi-Fi here, so.
Oh shoot.
That's okay. It's coming up right now. Passing. There you go. Tyler Huntley. Oh, never mind. He only had 4.
Yeah, see, he was better than a lot of people thought.
He threw short, though.
But
that team was a college football playoff contender until the last game.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
forget that, you know?
That was, but like, let's be honest. Tyler Huntley, people were pushing for Heisman. That was a really good year.
He had a great
I think Cam
year.
can be better than that.
I
I
agree.
agree.
But like that was obviously an outlier. Let's do something a little bit. 2018, he was like 7 or 8, 9. You know what I mean?
And it's just.
But just we definitely were a run heavy team. We had Zach Moss. You know what I mean?
And Tyler Huntley himself.
Tyler Huntley was a runner.
Just to prove my point, Cam Rising, excellent quarterback. I think he's our strength, my biggest strength this year, and I hope he leads this offense to be one of the best, if not the best, Utah offense we've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the biggest strength that I've thought of is probably, this may sound, silly or non-tangible, but I think it's momentum. Like we have momentum on our side. We have returning players. We have players that have done this before. Quite literally, this was the first team to win the Pac-12. We've had multiple chances, but this was the first one that got over the hump. I mean, personally, I think that can do wonders for their psyche, for their mental side, because, Utah, we're prone to having big expectations and then dropping random games, And, maybe this year's team doesn't do that. Maybe this year's team fully realizes, man, we're good, and plays to that potential
over
every year.
85% of talent returning.
I don't think it's quite that high. I think it's
a
around
little
60,
lower.
but it's still.
I guess
It's like
significant
65%
Starting,
of production.
at least starters. A lot of
Yeah.
our starters are returning, at least on the defensive end. And
Yeah, and the losses are big, obviously, but this team has momentum. They have the bit in their teeth. They have the vision. They know they can do it. And now they just got to take it to the next step. And if we don't start 1-2, we start 3-0, we're probably in the college football playoff.
one game, one loss to Oregon State.
One loss to Oregon State. We're probably in the college football playoff. And so it's this team knows they can do it. The next step is just doing it. And so I think momentum is what I think the biggest strength is we know we can run over teams and we're going to do it.
And coming off of the season they had with the emotions that were riding on everything, especially with Ty Jordan and Aaron Lowe, I think having that momentum of doing it for them, even though it's not that season, it's always going to be in their heart.
For sure.
Those players will always have those two guys in their hearts. So I think that momentum will carry, like you're saying, Tanner. That's a really good point.
My biggest strength is cheating a little. I want to take a little from each of you. Our momentum, returning players offensively, and then Cam Rising in our other skill positions. Then the third one I want to add is our coaching.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, we had Roderick as the offensive coordinator, and dude's play call was
and
abysmal.
before that, we had the Eastern Washington guy, Troy Taylor, and he was not good.
It's bad. Ludwig has figured it out. I was more confident in our play calling this year than ever before. So that makes of coaching than Whittingham, obviously. So Whittingham returning, obviously. Winningest coach in Utah football history now. Great offensive coordinator. Great defensive coordinator. Scally has done incredible. I feel like our team's just going into its prime right now. Honestly.
It's kind of crazy.
When's the last time where you're love our head coach, love our offensive coordinator, love our defensive coordinator, love our quarterback, tight ends, running backs? Our offense is going to have a big year. I would not be surprised if we averaged 40-plus points a game.
Yeah.
So we were up there 36. We could easily push that to 42, 43, I think. And if we really decide to keep our foot on the gas against teams, we might be in the 45s, high 40s.
I think 40 is a good target to shoot for.
For me, I'll be 100% honest. I probably a little poison from my father. He was always against Coach Witt. I want to say it right now.
What?
Don't get me wrong. I don't understand.
That's the most wild statement ever.
He always was like, Coach Whittingham needs to be fired. And
what?
Being influenced by that.
Crazy.
Being influenced by that. I'm being influenced by that. I've always kind of had I see all the negative.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard to see the positive.
Nobody's gonna be perfect. When you see the negative and that's what you're looking for, you're like, I want this guy gone.
Exactly.
You're gonna see it.
He does have a little problem with being passive sometimes.
That's what I was gonna say. That's his problem.
And and that has
Maybe not
that is
daring
coming
enough.
back to bite him in the butt.
Yeah, but
many
the
games.
thing is, you see last year, and
We
we're
were a
like,
lot
we're
more
choosing to
daring.
receive. We
Well,
kick.
yes.
Like,
We're going
That's
for it
the
on
first
fourth
time
downs now.
ever.
we never receive. We always kick.
Never.
Going back to what I was trying to say was, I resent all my hatred for Calvert. I never really hated the guy, but I would always think like, the dude's getting old, we should get a new head coach. Kind of go in a position of younger. But if Kyle Whittingham wants to be here, I want him here.
I want him here as long as he wants to be here.
Kyle Whittingham is a premier coach, one of the best in the country,
He is.
and if not the best coach in the Pac-12. Coach in the Pac-12.
Yeah. Oh, easily the best.
Yeah.
Like, you can talk
Obviously
about
got
Lincoln Riley, but
He
I
had
mean,
to establish himself first in the Pac-12.
That-
you can't
that-
just give it to him.
but that dude was born on third base. Oklahoma
Yeah.
already had championship rosters.
Exactly.
Every single season he was there.
And
He had it made for him.
That's USC for you.
yeah.
USC
Yeah,
and
born on
UCLA.
third base. Yeah.
They've been
For
spoon-fed everything they've ever gotten.
Exactly.
I believe. See, coming out here as a University of Utah fan, we were talking about this. It's kind of getting off subject. I guess not really. We want to talk about what a successful season would be for us. Tanner was bringing up, if you said, talk about like the 2010, like that,
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
like in the past.
So,
like, what we would tell
2010,
someone.
we're Mountain West team. Like, we're a great Mountain West team, and we just beaten Alabama. We'd won the Fiesta Bowl 6 years back, and we were joining the Pac-10, which became the Pac-12. And if you told someone in 2010 that Utah football from the Mountain West would have the same number of Pac-12 titles as USC over that time
Pac-12
period,
South.
yeah, more Pac-12 South victories, like, that would have been unthinkable. So, like, the distance this program has traveled is, like, truly immense. Like, I don't think people realize how close we are, like, how recently we were a Mountain West team.
Like,
back
in those days, making a bowl game was like a very successful season for us. Like in the Pac.
Oh, yeah.
Like making a bowl game, it's like we had a good season.
8 wins was, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, we were hyped.
Yeah.
8 wins and win BYU. That's all we
Exactly.
needed.
And
We
then
got 8
getting a
wins,
bowl game that's
you know?
decent.
Exactly. Getting that Vegas Bowl.
Yeah, 8 seasons was
Yeah.
8 wins was, like, amazing. 7 wins was good. 6 wins was just
By
good.
year
Yeah.
6 in the Pac-12, we were pushing for the championship.
Yeah, we co-won the Pac-12 South with USC in 2015. That was our first time. And then 2017 was our first time in the Pac-12 title game. 2018, or maybe it was 2018 that was our first time in the Pac-12 title game. And then 2019, we were there again. And then we were back in 2021 where we finally won it.
In 2020,
2020
It
was
was a wash, COVID season, 5 games.
Yeah.
we were in the bowl. We had a bowl game. It's crazy. Anyways,
It was a blip. Yeah.
to be a successful season this year, like this is the most important season of all time for the University of Utah program.
Yeah.
For the state of Utah, really, for schools in the state of Utah, schools that have come to a Power 5. University of Utah is the original BCS Buster.
Yes.
We are the team that has paved the way for the UCFs, for the Cincinnatis, for the TCUs, for the Boise States.
Yeah.
If we can come out here from a Mountain West
Bust
in
it up one more
2010
time. Yeah.
and bust it up and come out here and make the playoff, we already are one of the better organized.
Oh, we're in the top 10 of well-run.
Exactly.
top 10
Yeah.
for sure.
I can't think of the word. I'm
But,
thinking
like,
of.
obviously we don't have those recruiting advantages. We're in Utah. Like, we understand our place in the college football landscape.
Yeah.
We understand the Big Ten's not looking for us over Oregon or Washington or USC and UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
But we are in that top tier of programs that just do it right. Like, we build every single year. We have great coaching. We don't get penalties. Like, we just do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at Devon Lloyd. Look at Devontae Booker. Devontae Booker, junior college transfer. Come out here dominating. NFL running back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Devon Lloyd, I think low 3-star recruit.
Yeah,
Came to
unranked
Utah.
for most of the time, and then just
Came
got
to
a
Utah.
3-star. Yeah.
First round pick.
Mhm.
Incredible. I think a successful season is going out there, winning the Pac-12, and showing that, hey, Big Ten, look at us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
We're
Yeah,
gonna take a
let's
little
take-
break.
yeah.
So building off of Ethan's point of a Pac-12 championship being a successful season, I completely agree with that. I think all of us agree with that.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like anything short of that would just... I could not be satisfied with anything short of that. If we do not win the Pac-12, like say we even had a pretty good season, made the Pac-12, lost in the championship, didn't get into the playoff, obviously. it's not good enough. We have
Yeah.
way too much talent and way too much just strength and advantage returning that anything less than a Pac-12 championship would just be a little bit disappointing. And our ceiling is winning the college football playoff. I mean, it's extremely unlikely, but like this is our best shot at it, if ever.
If
Yeah, I mean,
This is our best shot ever.
If everything goes according to plan, it can happen.
We've played David plenty of times. Why not play David one more time? You know, like David and Goliath.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we beat Alabama 2008. You know, obviously that wasn't the national championship game, but it was still a
Yeah.
very important game, the Sugar Bowl. You know,
Yeah.
We were the national champions that year. We play Florida that year. We win.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, I think most Utah fans would agree with
Uh-huh.
that. The NCAA
Most
has even credited us with the national
Exactly. I
championship
think
for that.
most people would agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so yeah, exactly.
I think
Mhm.
like to be kind of play a devil's advocate here. If we go 12-0 and make it to the Pac-12 playoff and we lose, I would consider that a successful season.
That's a
It would
successful
hurt.
season.
It would hurt.
Making the playoff is a successful
We'd still
season.
make it.
No,
New
not
Year's Six
not the
if we were
playoff. That's
12
what we
and 1.
lose the Pac-12. We make it because I don't think
Well,
if we
we
make
12-0 in the season, that we lose
Oh
the championship
gosh,
game.
I would consider that successful.
I would consider that successful. I would definitely prefer going like 11-1 and winning and going 12-1 with the
Same.
Pac-12
Uh-huh.
champion. I prefer going 12-0 and be the Pac-12 champion.
Yeah.
You know?
I do feel like there's one loss in there somewhere. We always slip up one time.
Uh-huh.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's one of the obvious ones either.
No, I
Yeah.
think I can see Arizona. Do we? No, I don't
Yeah, I think we'll get into this later, so we'll
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
this.
let's
later.
do
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the QB2 battle. I know Landon has strong opinions on this one.
I'm telling you, Bryson Barnes should be the clear QB2. He performed in the Rose Bowl, threw a touchdown, ran the offense. You can't say that. That's a tough thing to do. He came in with the fourth quarter against Ohio State,
And tied the game.
drove down the field and tied the game up with a touchdown. That's just a lot right there. And then the spring game as well. He was tearing it up in the spring game. He even ran for like a 50, 40 yard
Probably like a
TD.
50-yard TD.
50-yard TD.
Got called back for
He got
taunting.
he got called back for taunting. Everything I see from Barnes I like. I feel like he has the swagger. His athletic ability is shockingly good.
Shockingly.
His arm might not be as strong as I would like, but he has great accuracy, as we saw in the Rose Bowl. I just think he's shown a lot more than Jaquindon has. Jaquindon's form just looks kind of broken to me. And, like, he's not even faster than Bryson Barnes. I don't see his upside as much.
I think Jaquindon Jackson definitely needs to be on the field somehow.
He's just too good of an athlete to
Yeah,
get him on
he's,
field,
he's
you
too
know.
big and too fast to not play.
Give him something. I just don't think he needs to be the quarterback. We have guys coming in. We have two really really good recruits. Nate Johnson being one of them.
Nate Johnson,
was
yeah.
One of the best quarterback recruits in Utah history. I think he's
I
one
love
or
Nate
two.
Johnson.
He's pretty high up there. Yeah, he's good.
And then we have a 3-star of Brandon Rose,
Yeah.
who as well. You know,
Who's a good player, great player.
if
Yeah.
Jaquindon Jackson, if he wants to be at Utah, I think the best thing for him is to change of position.
Same.
Yeah,
same.
I do think whoever loses this QB2 battle is going to transfer.
I agree with that.
Just because we have too many good freshmen coming in, too.
It's just like
that, like, if you're not the clear number 2, then you're probably out of there.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's up to see him leave. You know, great friends with Ty. But I really think it's going to be Jaquindon. I think he's the obvious QB3. I think it's a lot farther off than most people think.
I don't agree.
I think-
I would put
I
Nate
think it's-
Johnson above Jaquindon already.
I don't know.
honestly.
No,
I
I
like
don't-
Nate Johnson's upside.
I think Nate Johnson has some of the same problems as Jaquindon, though. He's raw.
it's true.
And, like, I think Jaquindon has been working enough that, like, he could be serviceable. Like, the upside with Jaquindon is just that he's bigger and
His
he's
size.
stronger. His size. You know, he sees over the line better. You can run more dedicated QB runs. Because, like, I think Bryson Barnes will be good on, like, the scramble. I'm not sure we're calling QB runs
I wouldn't
for
call it
Bryson.
QB
exactly.
power with him. He's too small for that.
That's
You
what I'm
have to
saying.
at least have like Cam Rising level of size for that.
Like, I think that Jaquindon gives you, like, a little more diversity. I don't think the throwing is that far different. I do think Bryson Barnes throws better than Jaquindon does, but I don't think it's enough to, like, just put him above Jaquindon clearly. I would still choose Jaquindon as backup too.
See, we were just looking at Florida State and can't remember, not Florida State, Florida game. Looking at their quarterback, I can't remember his name.
Anthony Richardson.
You know, a good upside is Jaquindon.
Reminds me a lot of Jaquindon,
The exact
yeah.
same player it looks like.
I don't think
So,
Jaquindon has
stretching.
that much athleticism. I'm going to be honest. I don't think he's that shifty.
Yeah, I think Anthony Richardson has a bit more than
Yeah,
Jaquindon.
it's just the only times we've seen Jaquindon play, he came in for a few goal line plays. One of them, he like tripped in the backfield. Then the other one, he like fumbled it as he was going into the end zone.
He still scored, but
it was still scored, but it was like, I don't know about
that. Could be
that.
nerves. First college snaps,
Yeah, it's just. Contrast that Bryson Barnes came in at the Rose Bowl and threw a touchdown.
I know, but that first drive he didn't look good either, though.
That was right after Cam got knocked down. It was like 3rd and 16.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to convert that.
But we do gotta give him props. The dude was a high 4-star recruit from Texas.
Yeah,
very
for
high,
sure.
like a .96, like incredible.
He has the talent. He is incredibly gifted He's an incredibly gifted athlete.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think he could play. He could be a good safety. He could be a good defensive end. He could even bulk up and become kind of like a. If you're big in Utah, University high school football, Chase Hansen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could play a type of a role.
He has the Chase Hansen build.
He does.
And so, I would love to see him be on the field. I'd love to see him get snaps. But at the end of the day, if I wouldn't hold him against him if he transferred whoever it is. If it's Bryson Barnes or if it's Jaquindon.
Yeah.
We obviously have QB1. Cam's probably leaving, if not this year, next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's no sure thing, Like
Depends
something
what his
happens,
draft
he gets an
stock
injury,
is.
and he needs to come back for his senior year.
I mean, it's scary to think about, but a QB injury would derail our season.
Yeah, because I don't think either of them has nearly the upside.
They aren't nearly as good as Cam
sure.
is.
I think if we're looking for upside, the true successor, for next year, it's either Nate Johnson, Brandon Rose, or Mac Howard, the guy that's coming in next class. I think it's one of those guys that is our quarterback of the future. As far as looking at Jaquindon and Bryson, I just don't trust handing the program over to them for 2 to 3 years.
Same.
I just don't trust that.
I would love Bryson Barnes to fill in. If we need another quarterback, if Cam got injured, I'd take Bryson Barnes this year. But do I want him for multiple years?
No.
No.
I do not want to rely on the transfer portal.
Exactly.
It hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel like as a quarterback I've never seen it work. Obviously I'm not really paying attention to it, but I don't
think
see
of any good transfer quarterbacks even that really.
I guess Joe Burrow,
Baker Mayfield.
Burrow.
Yeah.
But those are top tier.
Yeah.
We're not
Spencer Rattler, boys, it's gonna happen.
We're not going to be getting
another top 5-star.
We're not going to be getting those guys that are
exactly
same.
We're going to be getting the guys that didn't win their quarterback battle. That weren't good enough for another Power 5 program.
Exactly.
And so I really think it needs to be Brandon Rose, Nate Johnson, or Mac Howard next year. I think they just give us the most long-term upside. And the best players got to play. Whoever that is, it's got to be the best player.
Exactly.
Utah's built on work. We're not going to give favoritism to anyone. Whoever is the best will play. And our quarterback room's loaded. Someone's going to transfer from there.
Exactly.
Probably 2 or 3 you're going to transfer.
Not everyone's staying.
We're getting to that point as a program where we're going to see a lot of transfers. And that just shows the sign of a really good program. You see it all the time with the big schools, the LSU's, the Alabamas, the Georgias.
Well, it's Quinn Ewers transferred from Ohio State to Texas after he got beat out by C.J. Stroud.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Quinn Ewers was 5-star, C.J. Stroud was 4-star. But I think C.J. Stroud's results speak.
I would say they made the right choice.
Agreed. We'll see. We'll see. That man could be quite good, but you never know with Arch Manning coming in now. That's just a crazy situation.
I'm not sure about Arch Manning. A little tangent. His stats aren't that great. He really doesn't. I don't know.
I think it's a name.
It's a name.
It's the name.
It's who knows because that name is.
You
elite.
compare him to other quarterbacks that play in the same exact league that have better stats, and they're unranked or 3 stars. It's he plays in basically the equivalent of a JUCO league. He's it's the same high school Peyton and Eli played at, but it's not a top tier football league.
It's not AMG.
It's not Texas. Exactly. It's not Westlake, Texas. That's dominant. And so. I don't know. I think obviously he's got the pedigree, Manning and Peyton, Eli and Peyton.
And his
grandfather. But I don't know. I'm not sold yet. I'll have to see it in action.
Of course. It's just fun to kind of think about these things and see, what other programs are doing and kind of looking at that and seeing how that could affect the University of Utah. Obviously, I don't think the Arch Manning recruiting going to Texas is going to affect Utah in any way.
Well, no, he's coming to Utah because all the Texas quarterbacks transferred to
Oh,
Utah.
Good point.
Hey.
Good point.
So I'm saying
Cam Rising.
it's either yours or or Manning.
Arch.
Yeah, we're getting one of them.
There you go.
We're getting one of them.
We
I'm
got two.
telling you.
We got two now.
It's foretold. It's written. You know.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's written in stone on plates. I
Yeah.
tell you.
That's all from me, honestly, for QB2.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think just to go over again, I think Cam Rising's gonna have a great year. I think he's the
Pray
key.
no injury.
He's the key.
Just praying no shoulder injury.
Just pray no injury.
And I think going back, I think just kind of recapping everything. I think Devon Vale is going to have an incredible year. I think he's going to have 8+ touchdowns. I think Cam Rising is going to have an incredible year, 35+ total.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that we see Keithy and Kincaid both go for 7+ with 500 yards plus.
Yeah. Let's go into stat predictions now. Now that we're here, let's start with Cam Rising.
Segue into it.
Yeah.
We've talked about Cam a little bit. He was in the mid-30s for touchdowns last season, right?
Probably like very early 30s.
Early 30s?
I think
25
total?
TDs and like 5 or 6 rushing touchdowns. So
Okay.
early 30s.
I think it's for 7 rushing touchdowns, 32 touchdowns
I can check
total,
exactly.
maybe. Yeah, but I expect him to make a leap
Quicker.
of 3 or 4 touchdowns at least, approaching 40, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that depends on wide receiver talent, because wide receivers would just round out our offense and make us way more versatile and deadly, because we already are a pretty versatile offense. Pretty even running and passing. Tight ends, we can hurt you in a lot of ways. But, receiver talent that's semi-elite would take us to a new level offensively.
Okay, so 20 passing touchdowns, and then he had 6 rushing touchdowns. So 26 total TDs.
Okay, 30. Yeah, you're good. 35 touchdowns maybe.
That's what.
Because
Yeah.
he didn't start. If he had started, he probably would have been in the low 30s for touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's
35 to 40.
Let's be honest. He scored 5 against Weber State.
Yeah, 35 to 40
25
touchdowns.
against BYU too. To be
Yeah,
honest.
35 to 40 touchdowns I expect from Cam. I think Tavion might score less rushing touchdowns this
Agreed.
year.
He's not going 22 again.
It's
Yeah,
just
no chance. Let's just go
He
Cam
had-
Rising first. And then we'll go to
okay.
the next one.
You guys can go.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with Landon. I don't think he'll reach quite the heights Ethan thinks he'll reach, but I'm expecting 35 to 38, rushing plus passing
You're just a
combined.
hater.
And probably 30. He had 2,500 passing yards last year, probably 3,500. I'd like to see him increase his average completion a little bit too. It's a little low.
Yeah.
He needs to probably increase that by 2 yards or so.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think he will because his shoulder's getting recovered. I think he'll do that. His completion percentage was really good, 63.8. Could probably bump it up a little bit, and I expect he will a little bit. So I'm just expecting the step forward. He's got a full year, full off season. He's the number 1 guy. I'm expecting that to show with 10+ TDs, 1,000
For sure.
yards.
For sure.
See, I would love to go through and see Cam Rising statistics the later half of the year. Of course, when we first got him, we're gonna do the same thing we always did. Defensive first. We're going to beat you by overpowering you.
Mm-hmm.
When, as we saw, we were starting to receive the ball.
Oh yeah.
Coach Witt was like, hey, I trust this guy as my
Yeah.
QB1. Where he's going out, we're scoring first.
Right.
It seemed. This is obviously probably not 100% accurate, but it seems like we were scoring 40+ a game in the last 5 games.
Yeah, pretty dang close.
Yeah, we
because
were very close to that.
if you think of our first couple games, well, obviously we put a lot on them. BYU only scored 17.
Yeah,
San
exactly.
Diego State, we scored 30, but that was in OT. And then after that,
Double OT, right?
yeah, double OT. And so after that, we started scoring. And so we did pick up because we could have put even more on Oregon, but we scored 38 twice on them.
Uh-huh.
I think we scored 35 against Oregon State or something like that. We had over 40 against UCLA.
Over 40 against Ohio State. We had 45 against Ohio State.
Yeah, we had 35
Crazy.
against ASU. And so the end of the season, yeah, we did pick it up. And
Almost 50 against Stanford.
and yeah, I And so moving on from that,
I just
let's
feel
talk
like-
about
just real quick. I just feel like having that faith in Cam Rising the whole year instead of just having it for that 6-game span will really increase his numbers. And I think Andy
Ludwig.
Ludwig and Cam being going one-on-one, full off season. This full off season is so key.
Yeah.
Cam Rising has not had that his whole college career.
Yeah.
Yep.
He has not been healthy, and he's not been the QB1 the whole off season.
Yep.
This has been under no doubt. He's our guy.
No competition whatsoever.
And so
number one.
It's that I think just that alone is going to increase his numbers by at least 10%.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very high. I'm a homer. My guys will always be probably 15 to 20% better than they really are. I'll be honest, you know. So that being said,
without faith, you know?
Exactly.
Exactly.
With that being said, I expect 45 total touchdowns, 5,000 yards.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Being the Heisman and number one draft pick. I like that. Nothing less.
National champions as well. Throw it in there.
So
Undefeated.
7 touchdowns in the national championship
gosh.
with his left hand.
Yeah, so leading into that, somewhere where I think we need to see a lot of improvement in order for Cam Rising to meet those numbers is our receiving.
Yep.
We only had 3 guys that were over 500 yards, and our most was Keithy with 611. That's not going to cut it. You know, we need at least like probably 2 700-yard receivers this year, and we probably need like 3 500-yard receivers, or maybe 2.
Yeah.
We can get. I think Devon. Again, I'm high on him, but I think Devon Vale can get over 1,000 this year.
Over 1,000.
That'd be
that's
a
lot
very
for
big
college football
season.
That's like almost
That's
600
like-
yards a game.
You're getting
That's
to
crazy.
Jackson Smith and the Jigba territory.
I think he's the clear number one on the wide receiver end, and there's gonna be a lot of pressure on
Solomon
Keithy and
Enos is
Kincaid.
still there, isn't he?
Yeah, he
but
is.
he's
But
kind of-
Vele is the number one, though.
Yeah,
Vele
I
is
would
the one
agree.
that Ryzen has the connection with.
I mean, Keithy and Kincaid are going to be
Tear it up.
they're gonna be watched the whole game.
I feel like we don't have that one truly dominant receivers, and so I feel like we're gonna have multiple people around the 700 mark. Is what I would predict.
You're probably right.
I think it's going to be Keithy and Kincaid are there for sure. I think Vele is going to be pretty close to that, and I think Solomon Enos, he's just such a good blocker. It's hard not to use him in that role. But I do think he'll get probably 500. You know, and then we need probably one other person to step up.
Like a Money Parks or Jalen.
Yeah,
Dixon.
maybe that's Micah Bernard. Maybe we're playing him as
Yeah,
he had
Bernard.
251 receiving yards last year.
He's a very good route runner and
yes.
very good hands.
Very fast, very good hands.
Depends what-
was running the routes
Great,
just
yeah.
as well as Jackson.
I mean,
you know?
well, he was getting cooked. He wasn't running them as well as Jackson.
Third string
But-
runner back playing against the best wide receiver in the country. I think he did
I'm
a
not
pretty
sure.
good job.
I'm not sure he stopped a single pass. I'll be honest, but I didn't really expect it.
But I'm just saying, we need someone to rise up to truly have an elite passing attack, I feel. You know, we need someone to really establish
agree with
themselves and really be that guy, you know?
Yeah. Do you guys think Keithy still leads in receiving yards this year?
It was actually Kincaid last year.
No, it was
Really?
Keithy.
Oh, it was
I thought it was
Keithy.
Kincaid. Sorry, Kincaid had the touchdowns.
Yeah, Kincaid had 8 touchdowns, but Keithy had 6, but 100 more yards.
Yeah.
I
So,
take that.
I mean,
probably.
I think
that's probably how
Keithy's
it'll
stats
be.
might increase,
I think-
honestly, with moving to the slot for
I
reps.
agree, I
think
agree.
he could actually
I
get
think
touchdowns
Keithy
and
will,
yards.
I think Keithy will have more yards than Kincaid, but Kincaid will have more touchdowns. Kincaid is the red
Yeah.
zone. Kincaid is the
Yeah,
red zone threat.
That
He's the big
classic
tight end.
tight end fade to the red zone. It's such a strong
It's Kincaid's route.
play,
Yeah.
and Kincaid runs it so perfectly.
He's just bigger than Keithy
I
is.
think
Uh-huh.
total touchdowns. I like receiving. I think Keithy will have like 6 or 7. I think he'll have about 3 rushing.
hmm
I think we'll lose him a
I
lot
could
more.
see that.
I see that.
I think he's going to play a very similar. Obviously, this is quite like an extreme comparison. Like kind of Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
Not Debo, whatever.
Yeah, Debo
Debo,
Samuel.
Debo.
Yeah.
Debo Samuel and Cooper Kupp. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
get the ball and just make a play.
Exactly.
Make a
And
play.
I completely agree with you there. I see Keithy, I think he's going to be much more utilized this year because we have so much talent. It just felt like we didn't know how to fit in. Well, we did. It worked very well, fitting in Keithy and Kincaid.
I mean, we averaged 36 a game.
Exactly.
It's a
It
good
worked.
offense.
But I think Keithy's going to be even more featured this year. Like, he's going to be the number 1 offensive player after Rising. That's my take.
Yeah.
I think after Rising, he's our next most important offensive player for next year.
Yeah.
Most impactful.
Are you
I
sure
guess.
that's not just your bias toward Keithy?
You know, I don't like Keithy that much. Just kidding.
Just the
I love
posters on the
Keithy.
walls all around.
I
us
still
of
remember
Keithy.
the first time he played a game, I said, who is Brother Kuthi? Who is BR Kuthi? Who is this guy? And I think that game he scored like 3 touchdowns, throwing guys off of him. Ever since then, he's been my favorite player on the Utes.
And I love the man. I think that there's not a player that will have the impact outside of Cam Rising than that Brant Keithy has.
I agree.
Yeah.
If he has a phenomenal year, the Utes have a phenomenal year.
Keithy is just, I see him as a ceiling raiser for our team, too, because we know Rising's good. The run game can be good, but, like, with our line, it's only going to go so far. Like, I don't expect to be the best rushing team ever. Like, we're going to be good. But, like, someone like Keithy, he could become a major problem for other teams.
Get out of jail free card.
He's already a problem, but it's like they could be talking about him more than Cam Rising.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. Like, if he has as big of a season as I'm hoping, because all I've begged for the whole time is give him more opportunities. More tight end sweeps, more tight end screens, more lining up in the slot. And it looks like we're gearing up to do that, especially with being weak at receiver. He's someone that can run downfield.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a massive role, and Keithy might have an enormous season.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the rushing attack. Obviously, the leader of the pack last year was Tavion Thomas. 21 touchdowns, 1,100 yards.
That's a lot of touchdowns.
A lot. If I'm being honest, I don't expect him to repeat that performance.
Yeah, no.
I don't think he's going to hit those numbers. I think
No
he's
way
going to
he's
be
22
somewhere
touchdowns.
around 12 TDs.
Big drop.
And I think he's going to be somewhere around 700 to 800 yards.
That's extremely respectable. 12 touchdowns, though.
That's what I'm saying.
22 is a lot
Last
of
season
touchdowns.
was hard to explain. It just was like he didn't have that many more yards than our other running backs. He just always scored the touchdown.
I felt
it
bad
was-
for
it
I
was
felt
very
bad for
strange.
Michael
I
Bernard. He did all
expect-
the work in the red zone sometimes. And
He got barely any touchdowns.
I expect
Here, Tavion.
Jaylen Glover to get a bigger percentage of the carries than Bernard or TJ Pledger did last year. And so, like, I think
it's gonna be. How does Bernard fit in it then?
No, I think Bernard's going to be used as I think he's going to play in the slot, and I think he's going to play on passing downs, and I think he'll play as like a speed guy.
Okay.
But like I think the two that are
Less
gonna
of a running back, more of like a gadget guy almost. Still a running back.
Well, but like Bernard's going to get the carries that aren't when Rising's under center. When Rising's under center, it's going to Glover or it's going to Tavion. You know.
I get that.
Like how many carries last year did he have out of under center? Like not many.
Not many.
Exactly. He gets it in the shotgun.
So any like option type play you think?
He's the one where
Bernard's
it's
the
like
guy?
a passing or a running down. He comes in and he's like valuable in both.
Yeah, any RPO you think Bernard's gonna get those snaps?
I think
agree
he's
with
going to
that.
get those snaps. And so I would expect Tavion Thomas, like his carry share, to decrease. I think he's going to
I
get less
agree with
carries
that.
than he did.
I agree.
Just because we have so many guys that are so good at different things. And so that's why I don't think he's going to quite repeat his performance. I think he's still going to have a great year. He's probably going to have the best stats out of anyone in the running back room.
I agree
But
with that.
I think they'll decrease.
I expect like 150 attempts for Tavion Thomas. Last year I had 204.
Yeah, that seems about right
That
to me
seems
too.
right.
And I expect 120 plus for Glover.
Yeah,
I
and then like
expect
100 for Bernard. That's what I
100 for
expect.
Bernard.
Yeah.
Like last year Bernard had 87. Last year TG
He should
Pledger
get
had
more than
104.
last year.
I think it's going to be
Bernard.
like 150, 125, 100.
I actually
think
could
it's gonna
see
be
him.
around
I can
there.
actually see him getting less, but
Same.
receiving
I
the
don't
ball a
want
lot
it to
more.
happen though.
Well, but I mean,
just
he
don't
had
feel
87 rushing attempts and he had 26 receptions.
Yeah,
251
That's
yards.
true. 26 receptions
Six-
is pretty
yeah.
big. I could see that
9.7
number
yards average.
increasing.
he got the ball second most on the team
Huh.
regarding after Tavion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I think
as
that's
far
Bernard
as
will
receiving
be-
backs go, Bernard is way ahead of the other two.
I think
He is.
it's going to be
Tavion is by
Thomas.
far the worst. He's probably
I've
the worst.
never
running-
seen him throw to Tavion one time in my
I think
life.
there's one, and it was like a minus or like minus 2 yards or 2 yards total.
Yeah.
2 receptions for 3 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And so-
just that's we're not trying to do
But
that.
Jaylen Glover for Florida was great out of the backfield. I don't think he's going to be as good as Bernard out of the backfield, but I think he's respectable. You have to respect that, which is why I
Yeah.
think he's going to get a good amount of carries because he kind of combines the positives of Tavion and Bernard into one package.
I'd like to retract one of my statements over about Devon Vale. I think he'll have 7 touchdowns. I said 10 plus. I think 7's more likely.
Yeah, I agree.
He had 1 last year. I thought he had a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I think going back to him, he's great. But I think this year, despite pure touches standpoint, I think Michael Bernard's gonna have the most on the team.
Really?
Right.
I think he's
Like
gonna have
passing and
100.
rushing.
I think he's gonna have 180. Like
That's a lot of attempts. Yeah, but
yeah,
I could see it. That's a
I'd
lot.
say I can maybe
possible.
150, like 155, 160 range, where you will have like 100 attempts on the ground and 100 receiving options. Not 150.
Yeah, I mean, when you
Yeah.
think about it, like if you look at our splits, we had 554 rushing attempts and we had 254 receiving. So a 300 difference, which I think that needs to be
Split with
much closer
Tavion.
to even. Like I think we need to be about 350 receiving attempts and about 450 rushing
I agree.
attempts.
I would love to see more Keithy screens and like more creative ways of getting Keithy the ball.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
He's such
Just a
good
playmaker.
I
Yeah.
mean, I saw this stat a couple days ago on Instagram. He has the highest yards after catch of all tight ends in college football.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, dude, it's tough to tackle.
He is the best open field runner as a tight end in college football.
Yeah, like it's tough to tackle him.
Like he doesn't get tackled. Like we just need to get him the ball in more ways, I think.
I agree with that.
Like people know he's good, but I think he's like drafted in the first round good. Well, maybe not because he's kind of a
He's a bit
tweener
of a
in the
tweener.
NFL.
But I'd say he's for sure going to
But
be
like
drafted.
tear it up in college good.
Yeah, okay.
I think we should go into predictions for the
Predictions,
season.
yeah, I agree.
This is the fun part. Let me get the list out on my phone.
Yeah, get
Of
the...
the schedule so I can be ready.
Okay, Utah at Florida. That's a huge game to start. Like, this is the tone setter. You know, it's primetime slot on ESPN versus an SEC team. We're probably going to be ranked top 10, top 15 to start the season. I bet you Florida's ranked. I bet you they're 15 to 25. I bet you they're somewhere there. They're always ranking Florida high.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when's the last time Florida wasn't ranked to start the season? It's been a while. Yeah. And
Florida gets ranked high.
So this is going to be a ranked game in primetime against an SEC team, week 1. We can make our mark. This is a huge game at Florida. Yeah, at Florida.
This is Michigan.
This is bigger than that.
This is
because
like
this team is better.
Yeah,
this
100%.
team is better.
100%. But this is, if you look at that season, we got to number 3 in the country.
Yeah.
That we were number 1 in the first ever college football playoff. Like right before that year, that season, that they came out like to projections because of that Michigan win.
Yeah.
So we can come out here and we can go step on their throats at Bill Hill Griffin Stadium.
Yeah, the swamp.
No, Ben Hill. Sorry, Ben Hill.
Yeah, the swamp.
The swamp.
Yeah, the
we
swamp.
will go out there and it start us up hot. Here's my prediction. I think Utah wins 35-21.
Okay, do we want to write these down somewhere?
I have some paper actually really close.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So that's my prediction, 35-21, and I think Cam Rising has a 4-touchdown game. Two on the ground, 2 in the air.
2 on the ground, 2 in the air. I like
With
that.
75% completion percentage. Just
Yeah.
very respectable game. And Brant Keithy has a touchdown in the air, and I think the other guy would be Kincaid for sure. Our tight ends go out there and they dominate.
Yeah, exactly.
Need a pen real quick.
And I think we have 2 interceptions.
Yeah, this one I'm torn on because it's such a tough game against an SEC opponent to start the season on the road, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if I truly believe that this team is as good as I think they are, which I do believe that, then I think they need to show it, you know. I am going to predict I think we're going to score a lot. I think we're going to come out and we're going to surprise them. I'm going to go 41-24 Utah.
Okay.
Okay, so now my prediction for Florida.
I write down the scores too.
Okay, I'll get that. You can start getting that. I don't remember them.
There's probably restart.
I agree with the other two. I do think we're going to beat Florida at home. It's a massive game, as you guys have said. It's going to be big, but I think we're going to be ready for it. We're going to come out with intensity. Let me think of the score. I don't know. I'm super high on our offense, and I think we might surprise all of college football, honestly. We might be a premier offense in the entire college football landscape. I think we could win 42 to, I don't know, 28, I think.
42-28.
It's a big win, but I really think that we can accomplish that.
Right.
I think realistically it's going to be a little closer than we think, but I think we're just all really high on it. And
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I don't know.
So we'll see what happens.
Because they got a first-time head coach. They've had a lot of transfers, but
Yeah.
they still got a lot of talent.
It's very true. We'll see what happens.
But it'll be interesting to... I can write these down if you want me to.
I got it. I can
It'll
do
be
it.
interesting to continue along.
So, go through real quick.
Yeah.
Tanner starts us Southern Utah.
SUU is not a bunch to talk about. We're gonna win. I don't think any of us are predicting a
I'm gonna
loss.
do 52-3.
Whew, that's a bludgeoning.
Yeah, we can probably leave off the W next time and just have our score first and their score second.
Yeah.
So
I'll do
Just to save
49
space.
to 7.
I think they're way worse than Idaho State. that we played 2 years ago.
I wouldn't say way worse, but
this is my take.
This is Ethan's take. He's defending it. SUU is way worse than Idaho State.
Okay, and we shut them out. So I'm going 48-0.
okay. Yeah, this next one coming up, San Diego State. This is an interesting game.
Yeah.
This is very interesting. They were good last year, and they'll probably be good again, even though I think they lost quite a bit.
We got them at home this time, though.
But
It's a big one.
This is one of the 2 games that I feel we will not lose. Well, this is the one we're going to get amped up for. We lost these guys last year.
Yeah.
We're not going to take these guys lightly. We are going to come out, and I think we're going to stomp them. I'm going to go 45-7. I think we're going to kill them. I really do.
Some big scores from you too.
I think
Me too.
I obviously think we're going to win as well. I think 45-14. I think we give up some points, but
I just think this is
I
going to
think
be
we'll
our
win.
most amped game for a bit, Like, we're going to come into this one firing. Like, I don't think we're going to take this one lightly.
I think we're going to win. I think it's going to be very, very one-sided. But I don't think we're going to score as much as you two. I think we're going 23.
28-3.
I think it's going to be a...
San Diego State's defense is pretty good, actually.
I think
they're not
defensively they're just going to be shut down. They're not going to be able to do anything. I think Clark Phillips is going to have 2 interceptions this game.
Yeah.
Type of game.
Yeah.
He's going to
I
come
think
out.
they'll be breaking in a new quarterback.
Exactly. I think, they'll come in.
They're gonna they won't score more than
Second
14.
half.
14 is the maximum they score.
Second half is going to be a new quarterback. That's my prediction for them.
Really? They're gonna switch it halftime?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
so, next game, Arizona State. This one's an interesting one because we're on the road.
Trap game for sure.
But
It is. They lost a lot of talent though, and their
haven't-
program's kind of in shambles
we
with
haven't-
the investigations and stuff.
And people are transferring away.
We haven't won at Sun Devil Stadium since we've been in the Pac-12.
Really?
Yep.
Didn't know that. I think this is for sure the year we
Interesting.
break that.
Yeah, we
this
break
is for
that.
sure the year
We're
gonna
just a
break
lot better team than they are.
that. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go 35-14.
I think they're gonna be really bad. I'm gonna go for myself 42-7. I just think they're gonna be a very bad team.
I'm going 33-10.
33-10.
I think we're gonna have a hard time scoring in the red zone. I just don't think our run game's gonna be able to really punish them as much as previous years, previous games, and so I think we're gonna have a lot more field goals.
Yeah.
But I still think we're definitely gonna have a really good game. It's not gonna be anything to worry about, and I think it's gonna be another time where we're gonna be in the top 5 after this.
Sick.
I agree. I think after that 4th game, we're probably top 5.
It's awesome.
And Oregon State coming up. This is the second one that I'm like, I think we're gonna be amped because
I agree.
you can't come off a loss to these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta avenge that. Like, the team has to have a bad taste in their mouth from that. They have to. I think Oregon State is really good though.
I
They're
think
really
so
good.
too.
They've got a tough running team. They've got a great defense. I really, really, really think they're good. I think this is going to be close. I think it's going to be like a 31-24 type game for us winning.
Interesting. For me, one thing I really like to look at is at home. At home. We're incredible at home. We are much better at home than on the road. And I think that's going to play a massive factor in this game. We're the better team, but at home I think we're a much better team. Their defense is pretty good. So I'm going to go like 35-10, I think.
Pretty big win. It's good, though.
Yeah, I think we'll make a statement. I think we're going to be on fire after these wins.
I think it's going to be pretty close. I think we're going to win by a touchdown. I think it's going to be 21-14. I think it's going to be a game really hard-nosed. I think it feels like this game, for some reasons, feels like a BYU type game.
I just don't think anyone can hold us to 21 points.
I don't think we'll be held below 30 many times the whole season.
I just don't think.
We even put like 42 on them last year.
Yeah, I just feel like this game's going to be. I just don't feel like we like each other, and so I think we're going to both play very
super hard,
nose. I just think it's going to be a lot of mistakes are going to happen. I think we're going to try to thread the needle. I think Cam Rising. I think this is going to be Cam's worst game. I think this is the game where he's going to probably lose some of that Heisman type of vibe. This guy's
the
not.
The thing to remember is
that
that Oregon State kind of sucks on the road. They were 6-0 at home last
They're
year,
kinda
and
like
they were like
us.
2-4 on the road. They were really bad.
It's a good take. It's a good point.
Yeah.
I still think.
Home
think
field
we
is
win.
a big advantage.
I just feel like it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be really loud. I think Oregon State's going to feed off that as well.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a good enough team where they're not going to be affected as much as others coming here at Rice Eccles and hearing the Sea of Red.
I don't know. I feel the opposite. It'll be more affected than other teams.
I definitely
they didn't play well away from home. And I just think Utah with big home advantage.
This next one's interesting. This is, I feel like, the biggest trap game on the schedule.
Yes.
Going at UCLA.
This is probably game day.
It might
UCLA has the easiest schedule of all time.
Yes, they do.
And they're going to be coming out. I am very confident they're going to be undefeated at this point.
Yeah, it just depends on what other games are that week, if there's other big ones.
For sure.
But this very well could be. Maybe this is a game that we all try to road trip out to, because we know UCLA fans don't really feel the stadium.
Oh, me and Connor are actually going out there.
To the UCLA game?
We're going to the UCLA
maybe
game.
We can piggyback on you guys.
Yeah, and then
we're
coming
together.
back and going to the USC game. We hope to spend a week out there.
There you go.
Wow.
So that's our plan. Spend a
Won't they
week.
be doing school? Oh, so you're just
skipping. We're just doing online.
There you go.
We were just planning on going out there, doing school online, missing whatever we needed to.
Yeah, maybe
coming
me
back.
and Ethan can come down for a
Yeah,
day.
I was actually going to ask you guys about that because we're not 21. We can't go to a hotel or anything.
So we get the hotel.
We would obviously
pay.
We would pay our fair share, of course.
And for us getting the hotel, we can stay
if
there.
you guys want to stay there
that.
one night or something,
For sure.
we'll pay for it because you guys got us the hotel.
Yeah,
for sure. I think this game is going to be a shootout. I
agree.
I
totally agree.
This game,
I
think this is going to be one of the best games of the whole year.
This might be a Rose Bowl type game.
Yeah, I think.
It is at Rose Bowl
think-
Stadium.
Oh my gosh.
Holy crap!
How did that happen?
I don't know. My mini fridge just
Here, pause it for a second and fix that.
exploded. We'll be right back after a short intermission, boys.
Okay, and we're back.
We're back after that short intermission. So what happened is I have a mini fridge in the room here that we're recording, and a soda in there got so cold it actually exploded, and it had such force it opened the door of the mini fridge. It was a massive bang. So
I
we're back.
felt like the glass window broke over there.
I know. I thought the window broke.
I felt like a kid threw a ball and it hit the window or something.
Yeah,
and it shattered. It was crazy.
Okay.
Oh, so going back.
Okay, back. We're at the UCLA game. Utah at UCLA.
At the Rose Bowl.
A huge shootout. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, that's where we left off. I was saying I think it's going to be a huge shootout. And after a really rough, hard game for Cam, I think Cam probably will throw an interception or two for Oregon State. He's going to come out and have a masterclass of a performance. I think we're going to win 59-42.
Ooh, 59.
Big game. Yeah.
That's a lot of points.
I think Cam Rising, that's eight total touchdowns in a field goal. I think Cam Rising's going to have 6 of those touchdowns. Maybe 6 in the air, 5 in the air, and 1 on the ground. Who knows what happened? And I think we're going to have a pick 6 and some more other things and some rushing touchdowns. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
I agree this is a shootout. I think it'll be a little less though. I think we're going to win 45-38.
That's definitely probably more likely, but hey, go big or go home.
I mean, we put up like 52 on Stanford, and we totally took our foot off the gas. We could have put up way more.
40. What was it again? 45 what?
45-38. And so, I do think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be tough to stop their offense. We're going to be kind of beat up after a physical game versus Oregon State. They've got tons of weapons. You know, their defense is very suspect, but they have a ton of weapons. And I think that they'll be coming in riding high. I think they'll be undefeated coming in this game.
Exactly.
There's not many teams that can really even touch them that are coming up. It's like
That's
Bowling
true.
Green and like
it's like terrible teams.
South
They're
Alabama.
They're terrible.
Yeah, it's like teams that like are okay, but I mean it's UCLA. They can lose to anybody. You know.
That's
to
true.
quote Charles Barkley, the teams are playing are terrible.
They're terrible.
And so this will be a high-profile matchup, and I think the Utes come out the better, even though it's probably going to be tight for a pretty good portion of the game there.
I think at the end of the third quarter, it's going to be the blowout for the remainder of the game.
Right.
I think it's going to be tied at halftime, and I think University of Utah defense is going to step up and really kind of shove down their throat, and they're not going to make it past the 50-yard line at the end of the second half.
I think the Utes score 52, but we give up 38. That's what I think is going to happen.
Could see that.
I think it'll be pretty tight, but going into the fourth, I think we'll start to extend our lead a bit.
Yeah. I think our how much bigger we are than some of these teams. We're just a lot more physical.
Yeah.
I think it'll kind of really show here at UCLA.
I agree.
We tend to bully them on the ground.
We do. We really do.
I mean, you look at our recent history, we've killed them for like the last 5 years.
Yeah.
We haven't lost them in a while.
Especially on the ground. Devon Thomas had, I think, 4 touchdowns last year. And you look at what's his? I can't remember his name. He got signed by 49ers. Ran for 300 and plus yards against UCLA.
Oh, Joe Williams.
Joe Williams
Yeah.
came out of retirement that game and broke the University of Utah record for a season.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was an insane game.
And that's against UCLA. I think the same
Yeah.
thing's going to happen. I think Chip Kelly, great offensive coach. Defense is just going to fumble
Defense
the
is
bag.
They're
abysmal.
losing a lot of defensive players.
Their
this
defense
year,
is
too.
going to be terrible.
I
Like
agree.
easily, not easily, but we're going to score 50.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same way about the next game, USC, where
I
this
agree
one's
with
at
that.
home. And frankly, I think this is our statement game. I think this is the one that people think is going to be really close, like the Oregon game, really tight. And I think we're going to kill them. I think
Same.
I think their offense is really good, but they're going to have a very tough time in probably the late night slot, probably the 8 p.m. Mountain Time
Ooh.
game in Salt Lake.
It's going to be loud.
It's October. It's going to be loud. It's going to be cold. I don't know how they're going to handle that.
High elevation.
Uh-huh.
Caleb Williams coming from Oklahoma to come play up in the mountains.
Yeah, and like frankly, neither of their lines is very good. I think we're going to get a good push. I think we're going to bully them, and I think we're going to hold their offense to lower than we think. I'm going 42-21.
Hey, I respect
Me,
it.
a lot of the same points you made. I mean, we just beat them at home for the first time. Was that first time ever?
In like 108 years. or something.
Huns
Yeah.
doesn't count if it's over 100 years ago. If it's
Exactly.
over like
First
60,
time ever,
it's
basically.
like
If it's
I
over
just-
30, really.
I just can't imagine
Honestly.
them beating us at home, especially this year. Our team's better than last year. Their team likely is better than last year as well. But I just don't think they can change that much. So I'm going to go. I think their defense is going to be terrible next year. I think we're going to score 49 and they'll end up with 28.
49-28.
I don't think we're gonna score as much as y'all agree, but I think our defense is gonna hold them to a lot less. I think our defense is going to show out, and Clark Phillips, Van Tillinger,
See some
Blanda
sacks,
Barton.
interceptions.
I think Caleb Williams is not going to be prepared to come up here and play in this high elevation, play
Same.
cold night game against.
I think he'll struggle passing.
I think it's going to be really hard for him, and it's gonna shock him. I think he's a great quarterback, but I think he had a lot of hype around him being Oklahoma.
But like you look at his stats, they're almost identical to Rising's.
Exactly.
But like against much easier
Yes.
defenses.
Yeah.
I mean, he had Kansas on his schedule, and he struggled with Kansas.
He's never played.
I think
a
he's
defense.
overrated.
I
I
think
think
he's a
he's an
great
overrated quarterback.
I think he's a great quarterback, but he's not someone that puts fear into my heart like Marcus Mariota did.
Or
at
C.J.
Oregon.
Stroud.
CJ
Or
Stroud.
C.J.
I was
Stroud.
terrified of
You
Stroud
know,
before that game.
or even Herbert, you know, or
Yeah,
he's not
exactly.
someone,
Honestly,
or Slovis.
yeah, I was going to say I was
Yeah.
more afraid of Slovis than I am of Caleb Williams. At this
Same.
moment.
The one thing that Caleb Williams has going for him is he's a great runner,
Oh,
and so
And that makes me a little nervous.
But I think with it's the 7th game of the year.
we'll be
we'll
warmed
be
up.
established by then.
I think our linebackers are going to. It's either
They're gonna be
make or break.
clicking.
It's
I
gonna be
just
make or break.
think
It's
it's
either
a
they're going to be very
different-
good, or at this point they're going to be one of the best linebacker groups in the country,
Yeah.
or they're going to be really rough. And so I feel like at this point, with how we're going right now, obviously I think they're going to be really really elite.
Teams are not ready for Rice Eccles at night late. in the
They're
season.
not.
It's cold. It's loud. The elevation is insane. This will be the highest elevation he's ever played at.
Exactly.
Like by far.
Most of the team, I don't think they're returning more than 6 starters total.
Well, like they got a ton of dudes on the offensive side of the ball, couple on the defense, but like nothing really that like changes what their
Exactly.
defense was fundamentally last year.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Caleb
Which
Williams
was
has
trash.
never played a defensive-minded team as Utah.
Yeah.
No.
Coming from the Big Ten, it's a shootout. every
Nothing
single
with
year.
nothing with a line as good as we will have.
Uh-huh.
Nothing with a run game as good as we will have. You know, like we will be the best team he's played in his time in Oklahoma, in his time in college.
Yeah.
And who are they even playing beforehand? Because like, could they?
They played Oregon, I think, before us.
No, they don't play Oregon this year.
Oh yeah, I remember
So
that.
so they've got
Rice.
they've got Rice, Stanford, Fresno, Oregon, Arizona State, Washington State, and then we're in that one, but I just put it up here because it's a favorite. So they don't have too
That's
many
pretty
actual
easy.
tests. We will be by far the best team.
Yeah, they won't have been tested very much.
Yeah, and especially coming in.
That Oregon State game will be key. We'll see how they play against like a run-based team.
Uh-huh.
I think that will give us a
determine
lot
our
to-
game plan.
I think that will give us a lot to think about.
I think a game for them that's kind of I think it's gonna be really hard. I think Washington State's gonna be a lot better than like people think. I think they're gonna lose more games than they did last year, but they're gonna be a tougher team to win. So I think coming out, they're at
It's a
Washington.
trap game. It's a trap game.
They're at
Yeah.
Washington, right?
At Washington State, yeah.
So coming from Washington State to Utah, it's gonna be a rough 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think USC will probably come out here undefeated as well. I think we're gonna have 2.
I bet they'll drop a game.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I don't think
they're
really?
that good.
I think they'll drop a game.
think they're that good.
I just don't think they have any challenge right now.
Even with no challenge, they'll lose to one of these.
Stanford always had a lot of talent. If they can put it together.
Stanford beat them last year.
Yeah, McKee is pretty good.
I don't see them getting that much better where they come in undefeated.
I think their
us.
offense will be a lot better, but their defense.
Their defense is gonna be worse even.
And even their lines, I don't feel like they're super strong.
Yeah,
I can see that for sure.
I do think they'll have a drop the game, but I think they'll still be ranked in the top 25 with one loss.
I agree.
I think they'll be top 15 with one loss.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. With Lincoln Riley, they're gonna get so much.
And
higher.
I think
every win, it's
I think if we're undefeated up to this point, 6-0, I think we'll probably be top 5 or 6.
Yeah, I could see us number 6.
Yeah. I feel like at this point, I do have a buddy that's on USC, and so it's kind of like,
ooh.
And so hopefully, I'd love to see him play, and I'd love to see Tavion Thomas pummel him. Yeah, this would be fun to see. But it'd be cool. Shout out Taylor Katoa. Anyways, what's our next game?
Washington State. I think this is a big trap game.
I agree.
Traveling to Pullman after probably a very emotional game against USC. Because we're gonna be amped up. USC leaving to the Big Ten. We are gonna be on them.
Exactly. And USC has a foot out the door already. I don't see them beating us. We just have more to play for, I feel like, and just a better team.
I agree. Yeah, so Washington State, I actually think this is going to be a really close game.
I agree. It's going to be like the Arizona game this year.
I think it's going to be 38-34 Utah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a similar vein as that. I think it's going to be shockingly close. I think we're actually going to be down 2 touchdowns in the first half. But I think we'll come back from it. It'll be 14-3 or something. But I think we bring it back with... I still think we score 30. I say we score 30-24. It's going to be ugly, but I think we'll win it.
I'm in the same boat. I think 20-21.
Yeah, it's the perfect position trap game.
Mm-hmm. I think we have a game coming up that's a little bit...
Oh, gosh, yeah. I have my one loss planned.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think
we all have our one loss.
I think Arizona is definitely a team that we can lose to.
Yeah, Arizona the next week. I think they'll be improved, but do I think they'll
we'll
be
be ready
enough
for
to beat us? Especially when it was so close last year.
We'll be ready
I think we'll be ready.
I guess we're at Arizona. We're at home.
We're at home.
I forget that we're at home. So we'll see.
I think we're going to win 42-14. I'm just going to start it out. I think they'll be better. I don't think we'll have a repeat of last year. And at home, especially if our team is as good, undefeated. I just don't see Arizona coming into Rice-Eccles and beating an undefeated Utes.
I agree. I'm going 42-17.
I'm going 38-17, very similar.
Yeah, Stanford next week. This is an interesting game to me because it's at home, but also Stanford projects to be improved. We put a beating down on them last year.
Yeah.
We played a high school team
But
last year.
We beat them down last year. I was at the game.
Stanford is good. They usually are a pretty tough challenge, and I expect that they'll be a lot better this year. I think they're going to win more games than people think. I think that they'll rebound fairly well. I think they just had a down year because they had quite a few injuries, and they just didn't have it. It was just the year after a COVID season, and they were kind of just all wonky. So I'm going to go here. I'm actually going to go 31-21, beating Stanford.
See, I agree that they're going to be better, but I think we're going to still absolutely run through them. I think it's going to be 40-17. I don't think it's going to be really close. I think they'll probably score 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter when we kind of give up.
Yeah.
I think 35-14 is where I'm going. I just feel like we're just going to rest a little bit, honestly, before our game next week. We might, I don't know. I just don't think we're going to blow them out that hard, but I think we'll have a decently comfortable win.
31-21. Yeah, okay. Big, huge game.
Yeah.
Second to last game of the season. We're going to be 10-0 as far as we all project coming into this game. At Oregon.
Awesome. They're going to be mad.
Probably the toughest place to play in the Pac-12 besides our stadium is Autzen.
I think this is where we lose. I hate to say. I think we lose here. I think it's a good game. I think we lose off a overtime field goal that we don't score. I think we lose 27, not 27-24.
What about you? You go.
In a single overtime.
I don't know. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here and say that we win. Who knows how good Oregon's going to be? What if they're not that great coming into this game? Do you still think they're going to beat us?
I think they'll be pretty good.
I
think they're 1 or 2 losses.
I don't think Bo Nix is that good.
I think Bo Nix is a drastic improvement over.
I wouldn't say drastic. But
he had a good freshman year, but then he just was kind of.
Anthony Brown had games where he was dominant.
Anthony
like that
Brown,
Ohio State game, he killed it.
Yeah,
but
they lost Travis Dye. I didn't think he was very good anyways, but they liked him.
I just feel like they have a lot of like we dominated them on the line already, and they had a top 5 pick on their line. I think,
If we were to lose a game,
because the atmosphere is just going to be, the pressure is going to be huge.
It's going to be monumental on us.
If we can come out and win this game, if we win this game, I have all faith in the world we can win the college football playoff. If we
make it.
But like if we
win this game, we can win the college.
I agree.
I truly believe we are the level of team that we are the best team in the Pac-12 clearly, and so I think I have to pick this game to win.
Mm-hmm. I'm going the same vein as you. It's like, if we were to lose one, this is it. But it's like, if I had to bet right now, win or loss, I'm saying win. You know? Yeah,
I'm going with the classic formula. We score 38, they improve by field goal, 38-13. There you go.
It's just
38-7, 38-10, 38-13.
And it sounds a bit wild because it looks like me and Tanner.
See, this is how we felt before the Oregon game, though. Number 3 Oregon coming in.
I know, we're like, ooh.
Oh my gosh, if we can even win by 1 point. This is going to be the closest game of the year, the most intense.
Yeah.
I just don't think Oregon has the talent to match up with us. First-year head coach, quarterback change, losing some pretty severe pieces. Like, I think they'll be I think they're the second best team in the pack.
Yeah.
But I think we're just that far ahead of them.
I agree. I think we'll win this game. I think we even put 42 on them, 42-28, I would say. And when you first see this game, you're like, oh, that's scary. Like, we're playing Oregon at home next season after kind of sabotaging their college football playoff hopes. Like, they're going to be up for this game.
And then on the road at Colorado last one.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, when you look at it, it's like, wow, you're predicting Utah to go undefeated. But it's like, I'm looking at each of the games individually. Because it's like, do I think we'll have a loss somewhere in there? Yeah, I do. I don't know what week it will be, but I think we should win.
I do think we'll finish 11-1, but I can't predict what game.
Exactly. It might be Oregon. It might be UCLA.
It might be USC.
It might be a random game, a Washington State or an Arizona State. I don't think we'll go undefeated, but looking at each game separately, I think we should win every game this year.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. And we do have one more left on the schedule.
I think we will be the favorite in every game this year.
I agree.
Like the Vegas favorite.
As we should be.
So Colorado.
I think we'll beat Colorado. I don't think it will be a particularly close game. We'll have some pretty high expectations going into this game, especially if we've done as well as we thought we will. We'll be Pac-12 championship bound, perhaps even playoff bound. So I think we might rest a little this game, honestly. We might only win 35-10, a little less scoring production than usual.
For me, sorry.
Oh, that's good. I was just going to finish it by saying 35-10, we kind of coast to a win. We don't pull out any new plays. We just play we run the ball a lot. Just kind of stall. Maybe I'm actually going to adjust mine even. I think we'll win 30-10. I don't even think we'll get 35. We just are going to take a lot of the clock with each drive, just running.
I think, obviously, I predicted kind of a heartbreaker loss against Oregon. I think we're going to come out there and just say we're still one of the best teams in the country, win 37-3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I actually have a very different result than both of you guys. Wow. I think we're going to win 28-27.
What?
I think this is going to be... We're going to take our eye off the ball. We just beat Oregon. We're 11-0. We've clinched the Pac-12. We're in the Pac-12 title game. I feel like, and we're on the road. This has trap game written all over it to me. I feel like we come out slow.
I didn't take into account the road. I'm gonna stick with my score though.
We come out slow, and I think that we're up like 28-21, and they get a field goal, and they get 2 field goals to like bring it to 27. So I think it's gonna be very close. I honestly, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm just predicting that we're gonna barely survive because every college football playoff team has one of those. Where they like barely survive. I think this is.
I just think that's going to happen against like Arizona State or something, or you know, I kind of agree with you. I do think we're going to take our foot off the gas a bit. I just think we're good enough that like we'll still beat them by 15-20.
Yeah.
So obviously, we all have us as one loss or undefeated coming into the.
And
so we're going to be in the Pac-12 championship game. I'll start us off. I think I have a little bit different of a thing. I think Oregon State is going to come out of the North.
I could see that.
Well, divisions don't matter anymore.
Yeah, divisions
it's just
don't
the top
matter.
two
Yeah,
teams.
it's just top two.
So it doesn't have to be who comes out of the
year?
North.
Yeah.
This year.
Oh, then I changed
It could
that.
be USC.
I changed that. I actually,
It
no,
could be
keep it.
UCLA.
I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. I think the Oregon State game is going to come down to...
It's going to decide it.
It's going to decide it. I think Oregon State is going to go and win. I think they're at Oregon State, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm going to double check.
Yeah,
that.
it was at Autzen last year. So
I think they're at Oregon State, and I think Oregon State's going to be a 2-loss team.
Really?
I think Oregon State is only going to lose to us, and I think they're going to lose to someone else. I don't know who, but I think
I need to check their schedule.
Oregon is also
State
gonna,
that good this year?
I don't know.
They're pretty. I mean, they didn't lose barely anyone.
Yeah, they
What was their record last year?
hurt us. They lost 4 games.
4 games? That's not...
8-4. Yeah.
Hey.
They were 1 game away from the Pac-12 title.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if they beat Oregon, they were in the Pac-12 title game instead of Oregon.
Wow.
Last game of the season. So.
Okay.
And I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to come out and they're going to win, and they're going to come out at the end of season 10-2, and they're going to probably lose to one of their start of the seasons, or like a Stanford or Washington. Nothing crazy. I think they'll either have a 1 loss here in the Pac-12 or 2, and I think Oregon will have 3 losses in the Pac-12.
I
Oregon
agree
loses,
with that.
Oregon loses to 2. I think they lose to a team that they should win, Washington, and I can see them losing to another team like UCLA.
Yeah, or like a Washington State type. Yeah, they always have one of those. They always lose to Stanford too. When's the last time they beaten Stanford?
Yeah, it's weird.
Stanford.
I don't
always
think
beats
Oregon's that good. I think Oregon wants to beat us.
I think Oregon is
Yeah.
a step back from last year.
So
I know
I
that's a
agree.
hot take, but I think
agree.
I don't think it's a big step. I think it's a slight step.
Yeah, so I just feel like Utah is going to go there and they're going to have a hard time, and they're not going to win that game. But they're not even going to play them again. They're not going to worry about it, and they're going to go out there and stomp Oregon State 35-17.
Ooh.
I agree with you. I think that it's going to be Oregon facing. I think it's going to be Oregon facing us, not Oregon State in the Pac-12 title game. I think they're going to be 3 losses. They're going to lose to Georgia, and then they're going to lose to us.
Georgia, 100%.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Then they'll
for the
drop
conference.
another.
Or still, but
But
3
they're going to lose to Georgia. They're going to lose to us, and then they're going to drop one other. So I think they're going to be 9-3 coming into the title game. Yeah, and I think we're going to win, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than last time. I think it's going to be 35-24 is we're going to win this Pac-12 title game, and it's close most of the game. We pull away in the 4th.
Yeah, that's completely my take as well.
Oregon?
I think we face a 3-loss team in the Pac-12 championship, not 3 conference losses, just 3
Just 3
overall.
overall. I think it's either USC or Oregon, and they both have 2 conference losses and 1 other loss.
That's
I can
my
also see
exact
Oregon
take.
coming to the season losing 4 games. I can see
I could
Oregon.
too, but I don't think if they lose 4 games that
They
would
wouldn't
the
make
Pac-12
it.
That's what I'm saying.
championship.
No,
Of
yeah, I
course.
agree. That's what I'm saying. I can see Oregon losing 4 games total this year.
Yeah, I would say, I agree. I think Oregon is the most likely opponent we're going to face. I think USC is 2nd, and then I'd put OSU as 3rd.
Same. Exact same rankings for me for the same reasons as well. There's no way they're beating Georgia. So that's 1 loss already.
Yeah.
Hopefully we beat them during the regular season. I think we will. And then, I don't know. I think we'll beat them in the Pac-12 championship. I'm trying to decide because we'd still be undefeated by this point if
It's
what we
intense, yeah.
predict. I mean, I
That's
do
why I kind of
expect one
predicted a
loss.
closer game because I think we're going to
Yeah.
be nervous.
I do expect a loss somewhere in the schedule. So I'm just going to say we have 1 loss, and they're like a 3-loss team. I think we'll beat them 35-28. It'll be a 1-touchdown
Close game, yeah.
Yeah. It'll be a 1-touchdown.
Yeah, I think they are a team that will get stronger as the season goes on. As well.
It's funny. We all predicted we're going to score 35 in that Pac-12 championship game.
Yeah.
It's fun to see.
Interesting.
With all that being said, I think, sadly, the University of Utah will not make the playoff this year.
You don't think so?
I do not think so. I think that 1 loss, I think for us to make it into the Pac-12 championship, we have to go undefeated throughout the year. Not the Pac-12.
Into the
conference-
playoff?
the playoff. College playoff.
So you're expecting an SEC team is going to
I think
edge us out in there?
Yeah, I think 2 SEC. I think Clemson will go undefeated. Stomp pile through the ACC. So there'll be probably 2. I think Georgia or Alabama will be 1 and 3, or 2 and 4.
Then we'll get left
And
out
then-
for a Big
and
Ten
then
team. you
Ohio
think?
State, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the case. I think that's basically what it's going to be for.
I think to make it 100%, we have to be undefeated.
I
100%
agree. We could get left out as 1 loss.
If
Pac-12
we're 1 loss,
champions.
I don't think we'll be in.
Exactly.
I think
Sadly-
we'll be in the, yeah.
Sadly, depending on how everything turns out, say if Alabama loses 2 games,
Yeah.
you know, on that end, I still think they would take 2 losses to Alabama over a 1-loss Pac-12 championship. Sadly,
did they win the SEC? Did they win? Even if they did, even if they did, they have 2 losses. 2 losses in the playoff.
I know, but it's Alabama.
2 losses and you're in the. They'd have to have dominated the SEC championship.
That's why I'm hoping.
Dominated.
There's one SEC team that's undefeated. Everyone else has multiple losses.
That's what
I'm hoping the same thing for the Big Ten. I'm hoping Clemson has 1 loss. And then I'm hoping whoever the Big 12 championship is has losses,
I think
too.
I can see Ohio State and Clemson going undefeated, being 1 and 2.
But, like, the thing is, there's
Clemson going to be that good?
The thing is there's never been even 3 undefeated teams in the college football playoff. There's only been 2 maximum. Mm-hmm. And so I don't see that trend breaking this year. And so if we're undefeated, I think we're in.
If we're undefeated, I would say that we are in, definitely.
The only way, if we go undefeated,
1 loss, I still believe
the only way I could see us being undefeated and not getting in, undefeated Alabama, undefeated Clemson, undefeated Ohio State, and Georgia, who lost
1 loss SEC.
Who lost the closest game ever to Alabama, 1 point loss to Alabama.
Yeah.
I think they leave us out at that point.
I agree.
Which is annoying. It sucks, but obviously not being favored. Cincinnati did break that mold where they leave it open to a team like Utah. You know.
Yeah, the last year was a bit chaotic though. I don't feel like in a normal season, Cincinnati really has a chance. Yeah.
So we'll see what goes down. Like I said, I think Utah loses 1 game. I think we all agree. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're going undefeated. The likelihood of that happening is relatively likely.
Comparative to other seasons.
Yeah, it's our best chance ever.
Yeah, it's the best chance we've ever had.
But like...
but to see what kind of goes down, I think the University of Utah will end as a Rose Bowl. We'll be in the Rose Bowl playing Michigan.
And we'll win.
42-7.
Wow.
I feel like this is where style points comes in. We need to make statements in every single game.
Exactly.
We need to be so dominant that they cannot leave us out.
I don't think.
I'm not sure if we're capable of that because like there are other good teams.
Exactly.
Like if we're really that good, then we'll make statements. But like we just need to do that.
I don't think there's a team outside of the Big 4 that can beat Utah this year.
I think there are teams that can beat Utah, but I think Utah's better.
Yes.
Utah's better than anyone, I feel like.
You mean
in a
like,
bubble.
by that you mean like Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State,
and Clemson.
I feel like Utah is better than everyone but Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Clemson. Those are my 4.
I can even argue, like, depending on how the season goes,
Clemson.
you could argue Clemson just to see who their quarterback is.
I don't think you can argue the other 3.
The other 3 are better than us.
No,
but like everyone else,
leaps and bounds.
Everyone else, I would take Utah on the field. Like I know that would be crazy to like people on national media, but like put them on the field together. I think Utah wins.
Agreed.
And so that's why I predicted no losses because I think our team is that special. I think this is the year. I think this is our banner year for being a Power 5 school. I think we need it this year. I think it's perfect timing. Mm-hmm. You know, and like I think this is where we put Utah on the map. I think this is it.
I agree. There's no better time than right now. This is the best opportunity we've ever had to be a powerhouse in college football. Like, this is the year. Like, this is it. We just came off a Rose Bowl appearance. The Pac-12 around us is relatively weak, I would say. USC, UCLA are leaving. They're here for 2 more seasons. Like, this is kind of the end of the Pac-12 as we know it these next couple years. And this is the year to make a statement to get into the college football playoff or even just win the Pac-12 again. So, yeah, definitely could see us going undefeated. I think 1 loss is the most likely outcome. And then it all depends how the cards fall, whether we get a college football playoff or not.
I think, like I said before, I want to go back to, I think we'll be a 1-loss team. We'll go 11-1 as the Pac. Well, I guess we'll go 12-1. I think we'll go 13-1 for the remainder of the season, the whole season. I think we'll win.
Or 13-2 maybe because we'll have that 14th game in the playoff or the Rose Bowl or something.
Ooh.
I think the Rose Bowl we get there and we win.
Oh, so we'll be 13-1 then.
Yep.
Okay.
I think we'll be 13-1. I think I said earlier. I think we'll go to the Rose Bowl and we will absolutely dismantle where we play.
You know what?
Wisconsin, Michigan, I don't care who we play. I think we win. I think we win by a lot because I think at this point
we're going to be motivated to win it.
Yeah, I agree.
At this point, we're putting our. I think if we go out there and we are 1 loss to the undefeated, we're putting our chips into the big. It's like if the Pac-12 is dismantling, we're throwing our chips all
maybe
in.
the SEC, you know.
Yep. Yeah, who knows? Maybe the SEC will.
They can't let the Big Ten have all the time zones.
Exactly.
They're just one region because the networks will pay for the full nationwide coverage. It's like the NFL.
I say, wow, we have around the clock.
Don't you think the
watching.
SEC needs to expand west? I feel like they
agree.
do.
See, and I think at this point, if
not saying that we'll get that, I think that's very unlikely. I think the likeliest is we stay in the Pac-12. Second is Big 12.
I agree. But at this point, if you can, throw our chips in. And I think the Rose Bowl is the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah.
It's the perfect stage to say, hey, we're better than you.
Mm-hmm. So we deserve to be in the Big
We're here now.
Ten.
We're a powerhouse. We develop people. We have great teams every year in and year out. You know what? I'm throwing caution to the wind. 15-0.
15-0. You've got me believing as well. 15-0.
I'd love
national champions.
I'd love it. I do want to end off on one note. This Utah team is very special.
Yeah. Pleasure.
No matter what happens, I will
be watching every single game.
I'm an addict, bro. If we're 0-6, I'm watching games.
If we're 0-6, I'm the most rowdy 0-6 fan ever.
I support them through thick and thin. That's why I'm not too worried about this conference stuff. I think it'll sort itself out. Wherever we go, it's not going to change my life.
As long as we have a matchup each week, I'm hype.
Exactly, and I think that this team is going to keep a tradition alive for two young men that were amazing, and I think just to be 22% better every day.
Yep.
I think that will carry us to heights that we kind of didn't dream of. And I really hope that the University of Utah keeps that tradition alive. Moment of loudness. Just keep it for those two incredible athletes. And the people, I encourage, if you are listening, and somehow you listen to right now, go and listen to that 22 more if you haven't. The 22%.
22 forever.
22 forever, yeah.
That little documentary.
Incredible documentary.
It is something that it changed my perspective on those two people. I thought they were great already, but to understand who those young men were and the impact they had on the players, coaches that we've grown to love, it's incredible. And I
really
think
is.
If we all can, I think we should all strive to be 22% better every single day, just like those players do.
Yep. Well, thank you for listening. If you've listened to this whole thing, hope you keep listening.
Hopefully next time we'll be a little bit more organized.
Yeah, seriously.
Won't be so crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
This is going to be a long podcast. If you get to the end of this, you're a true OG.
Well, thank you for listening. We're signing out.
Bye.